So I'm like a kid because I want to talk about all this stuff so bad. It's like it takes too long for it to happen.
Right.
For me. And also, there's always way more than I could actually put, even in a 3-hour video that I don't want to express. So I'm going to try to do like all over the place, but still ordered if possible about what.
Okay.
Because so we already addressed that the ideas originate right in Lake Baikal, and they actually come from Europe and Russia, and by way of actually Siberia and this whole weird
right.
Again, not a Graham Hancock one thing did thing. No. We've already addressed that that's just there's fantasy that he has, which is he says he has no evidence. And then there's me giving you facts and then more facts. So, anyway, so I wanted to address that the reason that we've said before that they make these different structures, a lot has to do with the axis mundi and the mountain, the sacred mountain or world tree, which is the axis mundi, but in like a naturalistic interpretation form. And this is one of the points I wanted to make about all this kind of stuff. It's easier when you stop seeing it like different things and start seeing like what's the main themes they're all sharing in a sense. Not in the Graham Hancock or like Ancient Aliens bullshit.
Right.
I mean, actually looking at, like you talked about the last time, that a lot of these or most of these have to do with burial.
Right.
So when you say they're similar and they're all doing the similar thing, not crazy. When you realize their myths start sounding like mountains and hills and axis mundi and mounds of creation and eggs. So the other thing too is that a lot of times, and that's why I like to explain or try to. And by the way, we're going to get to just the myths.
Okay.
But I feel like you have to know what the myths are even referring to, like in an educated way first.
Right.
I feel, because then when you hear them, you've already go, oh yeah, yourself. You don't almost need me to help you. You'll start, oh my God, that, it'll make more sense, I feel.
Okay.
So the first thing I wanted to address was what I had sent you when I had told you like the order of the stuff, because I hadn't really ever exactly, wrote this out.
Right.
Because unlike Hancock trying to like prove things for money or whatever, I'm actually just trying to figure shit out first.
Yeah.
And then coming up with theories because from my knowledge and from the evidence. I know, crazy, right?
Yeah.
How dare I do that? So, and this is also is kind of like a rough draft of my ideas. So the mound invention order is what I'm just calling it or whatever.
Right.
To me, it was probably it's mountain beliefs first, but then shell mounds are the first mounds, oldest in a sense, and then dolmens, and then kurgans, which we're going to address really today, in more detail than we've before. So we already did a video on shell mounds. We've already did a video on dolmens, and so that's why now we're on kurgans, and then we're going to do one on earth mounds, and then we're going to do one on just pyramids to try to help explain all this. But all this stuff are, to me, the similar stuff. Mounds. Okay. Right. So it's just older, younger.
Different shapes, different sizes, but they're all
they get
mounds.
more complex, sort of, in a sense.
Sure.
But it's really, it's kind of the similar thing. So that's what I think is that it's not these people that someone went around and taught all people how to build pyramids. It's just when you have mountain beliefs, or Mound of Creation beliefs, or axis mundi beliefs, or world tree, all this kind of stuff, it inspires to do a certain type of structure in a sense that ends up being this. Also, I want to address feng shui, because that actually has to do with building more than people understand. And it relates to pyramids and all that. So we're going to get to, like I said, the problem is, I don't think you understand unless you grasp mythology of why it's happening. But you still need to know what happened, and then you have knowledge of like what happened, even if you're not sure like how it connects. But then I know when you hear the mythology, you remember, oh yeah, I remember that.
Right.
Anyways, so mythology stuff is also, once again, super complex and hard. not because it's actually that the ideas are hard, but that our biases of today have such a hard time understanding. Like if I told you there's this myth called the world egg, and inside the egg, the yellow is the sun, and the white part becomes the moon, and then there's humans in there and a deity in there that creates everything. Anyways,
Okay.
Right? And then I tell you that you need to understand that Earth Diver relates to that. And you're like, well, how? And I said, you have to think animistically. I know this is super hard, especially for me, because I don't think animistically. I think rationally, so that just does not come in my head.
Yeah.
So I have to force myself to remove my bias, or as much as possible, and just think, what could an egg do that makes you think that it's like this idea of a mound in water? Well, just think of the inside of the egg. It literally is a mound inside liquid water.
Right. Yeah.
Just starting that. Also, do you know eggs float?
Right.
Like the Mound of Creation.
Right.
Which, speaking of which, I sent you a picture of a pyramid that someone on the History Channel, which, by the way, please, people, just assume if it's on that thing called the History Channel, it's probably wrong. You should absolutely at least reserve some, as Corey would say, skepticism or doubt.
Yeah.
Because it's not a good thing as a science source. I'm not saying they can't ever mention a fact that's true, but that is not a credible science delivery, mechanism.
Generally, they're full of shit.
Right. Okay. Just clarifying that one. And I'm not talking they're just limited to ancient aliens. I'm talking about just in general.
Right. Yeah, they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
they're weird.
So click on that picture I sent you with the floating pyramid. This was an ancient. I think it was a History Channel. I actually did not watch this. This other person that that you see.
I remember seeing it, but now I can't find it for some reason.
It's I know I sent you a lot, but because we're gonna try to get to all that. Yeah. You know how I am. I'm a beating, dude. I mean, Corey's like, dude, you don't know. He sends me like 1,000 freaking articles, and I'm like, oh my god, Damien, quit spazzing.
I can only read. I haven't even finished the first one.
So, and like I said, I understand it, but you see my passion. I really care. I want to get the truth out. So many bullshit. It's like, oh my god, if you just understood the facts, the bullshit would be like, you're like Teflon A. That just slides off me. What the fuck? Anyways, so here's this thing of the floating pyramid, right? And I by the way, I'm not agreeing that this was an optical illusion they actually tried for. This person in the video says they don't believe it. It's not credible. I don't even address that. All I'm trying to address is the idea is, or similar to the mythology of a literal pyramid or Mound of Creation coming out of the water or looking like it is floating on the water. Right. So when you start to grasp the bigger picture, primordial waters, something floating on, then you realize, oh, so you could get to the egg, is all I was trying to say. And so I'm just saying, is how would, when we think about things, we think about nature. In Chinese mythology, they would say the West, I think, off the top of my head, is a white tiger, and the South is a vermilion bird.
Okay.
But my point is, I'm trying to say is, because it's totemism.
Right.
And they attach naturalistic meanings in a spiritual way to things, in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like I told you, to make just real quick for people to have my conception in a sense, shamanism and totemism are like yin and yang, sort of, right? In concepts in your mind. They both actually can make a whole like unit in a sense.
Right.
But they're really not doing the same thing. And they're not, so just understand, totemism really is like laws and rules and behaviors and things that can either benefit or hurt you in the real world, in a sense. But it's all supernatural thinking. But it's not based in like heavens and hells, and it's more about like right now.
Okay.
So in other words, like if someone said there's a curse and then you don't expect to actually disappear and go to hell or something, you expect that something bad happens to you in this natural world and blame it on the curse. See, that'd be more like totemism in a sense. Just so you know what I'm say. even though it's because some people go, well, totemism really isn't a religion. I'm like, well, yeah, it's like an element, but it really is part like a foundation that religion like lays on.
Right.
I don't want to go into all that because I'm not going to totemism. All I'm trying to say is that shamanism is different. So I just want to make this super clear to people. Totemism and shamanism are two separate things.
Right.
Shamanism is about the afterlife, the spiritual world, the ancestors, right? They're dead. Gods, things like that. Totemism is really more about when a religion says you can't eat cows, that's totemism.
That's totemism. Yeah.
That's not shamanism.
Right.
Shamanism doesn't address that in a sense. Anyways, I just help people understand because I know I use a lot of terms and people like have, I don't know, cartoon ideas about these things.
Right. Yeah. It's easy to get a caricature, like you say.
Right.
It. Yeah. If this is the first time they've heard you say these terms, they haven't watched other videos, then yeah, for sure.
Right. So I just want to clarify real quick that because a lot of this stuff has to do with shamanism. And then there's totemism stuff also thrown in. So anyways, in other words, probably the feng shui is in a sense used in shamanism to make an order of the universe, which gives you in the future or with your ancestors like a benefit because they're pleasing. Like, remember when the Bible says God did this and he was pleased? Right. So you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because someone's judging things. And anyways, so just to get, we'll go back to the stuff I sent you now.
Okay.
So the Kurgans is real important, and like I said, so the mythology order to me, just to go back to is the primordial waters is first. Anything, all of it, it's primordial waters, and so it has a lot of things. And primordial waters often have snakes and dragons and whatever in it.
Right.
So you know. Then there's a cosmic egg I already talked about. We'll do videos on all this. There's the earth diver, which ends up building a mound of creation, often in the turtle's back or some otter or anyways. And here's my thinking too. I think that someone said that he thinks that earth diver could be original to the ancient North Eurasians, so about 24,000 to 15,000.
Okay.
I'm less confident of that than that person.
Oh, okay.
But I would say this, if that is correct, because I think maybe that ideas came from the Middle East about the earth diver. So, but if I am wrong on that, right, then I would say then it must not have started with turtles, which there's interesting. They don't all have turtles. So then, okay, I can maybe go with that. So earth diver I put after, the egg, but it could have also been pre the egg, but it would have been a bird and maybe the woman becomes the earth, the mound or something. I don't know, but it would have been, to me, I'm just giving my opinion because like later, currently there's people that call the Americas indigenously Turtle Island.
Right.
I'm just trying to say, I don't buy that ancient North Eurasians was about turtles.
Okay.
Me personally, from the evidence, I support certain things, and there's certain things that I go, where's the turtles? There's no turtles that I know of in Lake Baikal come from in the mountains. It's certainly not going to be turtles.
Yeah, so it's got to be some other
lowlands,
kind of
right? Lowlands.
Yeah.
Where agriculture is or something, right? Which is where the Middle East is, which I think the idea is, and it follows dolmens, which is interesting because it also follows shell mounds. Well, that would make sense to have water things in that. Anyways, just so people can get my ideas with the mythology. So then the next thing writes the Mound of Creation. Now, it could be that Mound of Creation was a mountain or the golden mountains of the Altai, which is the center of the steppe, which often they call it the mountain, the world mountain in a sense, the axis mundi or the center of the world. And so I don't know if maybe that happened before or with the primordial waters, but I also think it's possible there was a version or something after Earth Diver. In other words, like you first make, turtles, and you build this mound, and know what you remember? The mound. So in a sense, you get a simplified version of the Earth Diver, where now they kind of forget some of that other like women falling from sky and animals doing stuff. It's just the mound just is there, like the Egyptian one, where the mound just is self-created in a sense, or deity wishes it, like the Bible, and it just happens. So it totally is like a simplifying of, to me, almost the Earth Diver myth.
Right.
Just removed almost everything and just kept the last part and said, ta-da, Earth.
Right.
Anyway, just so people understand, I do think there's, and when we talk about myths, of course, I will try to break this down and show why I feel what I feel. I just want you to get this general thing that, once again, against the Grand Hancock, it wasn't one person, it wasn't one time, it wasn't one myth, it wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
No. It's just like nature. I don't know, evolution.
Yeah, that's right.
So
it can't be just one thing going around doing it, right? Like it just can't.
Just right. When you see all the actual things that I can present that match the ethnography and the stuff that's been done, it does make sense.
Yeah.
But his stuff, Graham Hancock, or any of the people that come up with foolish ideas about mounds and mountains and kurgans and whatever the fuck and pyramids.
Yeah.
My wife goes, Damien, you keep acting like people even know what a kurgan is. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's probably true.
That's fair.
I'm like, I know. I just go crazy on shit, and people are like going, Damien, it sounds like you're right.
Start over at 0 for me.
What the fuck is a kurgan? So let's do that, right? Let's start. Right. That's a good idea. I'm gonna send you a thing so you can see. I'll send you 2 pictures, and this has to do with kurgans, because I guess I know my wife goes, the only mound, Damien, that anyone knows is a pyramid, and I was like, that might be true.
Yeah.
So, and you can see, though, it's hard. I know so much. It's like, where the hell do I start and stop?
Yeah.
It feels, like, I'm sure, overwhelming to other people. But it's hard for me because there's so much I want to tell you, because once you understand, you're like, oh my God, look at this.
Yeah. It's similar with any kind of topic. If you get deep enough into it, you stop being able to like think like a person who didn't know that before.
Yes, that is very true. It is hard because I know so much. It's like I figured, you don't know what a kurgan is, do you?
Right. We may have looked at this last time, though, right?
Well, yes, you and me you should start getting, but I understand even you, how often you like live 95% of your life or 99% of your life in the 1% you're with Damien, and he talks about shit you never fucking heard of before.
3 hours every 2 weeks. We talk about Kurgans and Dolmens and
well, but right. Currently, we're going to move on to other stuff. It's just that I want to. Everybody focuses on pyramids like it's so important, like it's and I'm like, dude, it's just one thing of a whole bunch of shit.
Right.
To me. So, anyways, I sent you 2 pictures. So let's look at the first picture, right? The first picture. Go ahead and read it on top, or read all the writing. Actually,
it says, "To me, the Golden Mountains / Lake Baikal area origin relates to sacred mountain beliefs. Holy, Mount Olympus in Greek, or special event, Mount Sinai in Judaism, purely mythical, Hara Berazati in Zoroastrianism, abode of deities, Mount Kailash in Hinduism. Mount Kailash, abode of the Hindu deities, and is also considered sacred in 4 religions, Hinduism, Bon, Buddhism, and Jainism. In one of the ancient Egyptian religion creation myths, Ben was the mound that arose from the primordial waters, new upon which the creator deity Atum settled. The Ben stone, pyramidion, is the top stone of the pyramid and is also related to the obelisk." So
right. So just even reading that much, are you starting to see what I'm talking about?
about the mix of the mountain religion and then the building of various types of mounds
or pyramids or whatever. That all these ideas we think,
because
so different.
yeah.
Well,
because the top of the mountain is holy.
Yeah.
Right. So if you build a pyramid, the top of your pyramid is holy.
Right. So it's a representation of the Mound of Creation also.
Yeah.
And so the sense is it's a mound that holds the Mound of Creation.
Right.
I'm just making a comment. So it's not just because I hear some people, like archaeologists even, sometimes will just say, oh, well, they build them like that because it's the best way to stack rocks. Like, well, that's not what they say. They say it's a religious thing, and it's done in a religious way for a methodological copying purpose. But see, the reason, so why would they do that? Well, it's belief that if you do that, like in feng shui, that then something magical would happen, like rebirth in the afterlife, or like, when they put the scarab over the king's heart, that way his heart, when it's tested against a feather, it won't be heavy, even though he's actually committed evils.
Right.
Anyways, well, I mean,
so it may, like, I suppose it probably is like physically true that that's the best way to stack rocks. But why are they stacking rocks?
Well, yeah, I would agree. Yes, I'm just making a comment. Yeah, I'm not debunking archaeology's claim. I'm just saying, okay, but that is not the reason.
Right. That's not an actual explanation of what they were thinking, right?
Yeah. Like, okay, yeah, building is involved. Well, there's always going to be architect that I'm not talking about. Like skill. We laborers. You know me as an anarchist, of course, I care about the laborers. And the fact that they have to do this. King built this, king built that. Bullshit. Laborers built that. And you know what? People don't realize, they always get mad at me because they always go, oh, the pyramids, Damien, were built by slaves. Why do you always call it capitalism? I go, interesting fact. That's not true. They were not built by slaves.
Yeah.
They were actually built by skilled laborers that got generally paid a wage. Now,
underpaid, of course.
Did they get their own pyramid? Then they were underpaid, right?
They were underpaid, of course, but yeah.
Of course. Well, in this one Egyptologist, me and him were like, I don't know, debating, but just discussing this issue about because he said they're not they didn't use slaves to build the pyramids. And I said, well, I never said they did. What I bet they did is the slaves served the food, probably cooked the food, caught the food, right? Probably transported the water, probably made the bedding, probably built the house that the people had to do for the temporary thing. So yes, slaves were still involved, even when you had laborers that you were shit paying. Yeah. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
But anyway, so don't ask an anarchist about labor. Marxists are not the only ones that give a shit about laborers.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm not a Marxist, and I give a shit about labor because it's fucking oppression. Yeah, that's why I care. Anyways, and just like Corey said, so not only, as usual, they're getting underpaid, right? To top it off, then the king doesn't pay for, I think it was like 3 weeks or 2 months. Or some nonsense. The first labor strike is almost 4,000 years old. So this is nothing new. So that's why I called it capitalism, because I said these are being labor exploited. They're not getting any benefit. They're actually, they have no social mobility. What, they're going to have pyramids too? Okay, they're not, and they also can be whipped or whatever, possibly, or even killed. Because remember, even if you're being fed, even if you're being you're still in a sense property of the state.
Yeah.
It's not like those workers could just say, now that I have this fucking skill of building, I'm going to fucking go to China.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck
off. Go make my fuck off. Yeah, I'm your best architect, the one that helped design the pyramid. Yeah, I'm actually good now. I'm gonna go take off and go and see the world. That's what I was going to say too. Going back to how an anarchist sees the world, it's always this power system that I see. So when you say like, oh well, they're equal, so you can't call them slaves. I'm like, equal, really? Oh well, they're getting a wage, really? Is it fair? Really is?
Yeah.
Anyways, how many pyramids did they get? Oh, they got 0? Oh, only the one king got it? No one else did? Or did we get little shit burials, like little tiny madrasas or whatever? Little tiny, miniature mounds.
Yeah.
Or rectangle mounds. So anyways, but he, of course, eventually agreed that I was right. He just doesn't like how I say it. And I'm like, well, I find that a lot of capitalists don't like how I say it either.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Because they don't like
being
anarchist.
Yeah.
Right, they don't like anarchist critique.
Yeah,
Either
right.
So like I said once again, it is not just Marx that's critiquing capitalism. Anarchists critique the shit out of it too. Anyways, I'm not going to go into all that, except the fact that let's talk about the stuff I sent you about politics real quick, because I wanted to address this too. And I know people, you're going to have to deal with it because that's who I am. So go ahead.
Right.
Because he was talking about communism. Okay, he says, I'll just read it because it's just probably easier. Okay, here it is. It's a picture that I'm holding, or not I'm holding. I'm next to a homeless person who is holding a sign that says housing is a human right, and I am showing them support in an activism again in front of a public building.
Yeah.
Just so you know what the picture is showing. I don't know if Corey's looking at it or not. But...
Yeah, I've got it.
Right. And so go ahead, and if you got it, go ahead and say what he said to me. Leftists.
All right. Yeah. So he says, leftists don't believe in human rights. They think rights are a legal fiction of privileges handed out by the state. When a far leftist tells you that something is a human right, they just think that's the best way to manipulate you into giving it to them. Nothing more. Now, this is just a lie. This is just nonsense.
It's just absolutely. I wrote crazies.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dude, anarchists do not believe in the state, you fuck. And even I did believe in state. I'm an anarchist. Let me explain something to you. Do you know why people have human rights? Because they own themselves.
Yeah.
They have human dignity. Rights are not gifts of government. What the fuck? Do you know even what, say, the U.S. or any government is trying to do as relation to rights? It's not they invent them. What they do is they try to eventually, if they're not bigoted, go, wow, Damien's conclusion that people own themselves and can do their life as they wish, they try to start giving them more towards that aim.
Yeah.
But that's not giving them that. If we had that, say, in America, that he thinks is, we would be able to do drugs, have prostitution. We would have abortions everywhere. You know what? People can say, I don't like that. And we would go, okay, and keep living our fucking life.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, at best, states recognize human rights. They never grant them. They don't get to grant us human rights. They recognize that and acknowledge that. And that's how that works with states, if they choose.
But if they do, I would say, show me a time that human rights were given by a state that they weren't fucking forced, probably by activism of some kind beforehand, that finally broke the fucking patriarchy or sexism or homophobia or racism or classism or every other isms that you can possibly have. Yeah. It is not because states just are so wholesome, so trustworthy, and so safe.
Yeah, it's like that you always hear the quote from Martin Luther King about the arc of history tends towards justice.
Yeah, bends towards justice. The fuck
but
it does.
Maybe, but only through the struggle of the people doing the work, right? Like, and
it can go backwards. And this is system, right? Which people, I don't know, so weird, still want to keep somehow. I'm like, let's do direct democracy. We would not even have to worry about abortion. We all could do it because it's actually like 80% of the fucking population. Oh, yeah, direct democracy doesn't work, except it does.
Yeah, that was that the same guy that you were talking to? That
no, it's a different guy that tries to tell me about also that there is no such thing.
Systems, yeah.
Because I said that I was a socialist, but I'm not Marx. He goes, you can't be a communist and not be Marx. I said, Marxist. And I'm like, yes, you can. I said, do you know what socialism is? And so that's why, did you see that thing of socialism I gave you? Where it breaks down. And I'm not saying I agree because I don't know, but I'm just saying I know that it is inaccurate to act as if Marx somehow invented all socialism.
No, that's right. Yeah. Socialism was a subject before Marx. Like, that's
exactly.
he got inspired by people previous to him as well. Like he didn't he obviously was very influential. He wrote a very good bunch of work, a lot of very in-depth, thoughtful theory, but he didn't just come up with socialism all by himself. Like he was inspired.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is that also I believe that there are some Marxist-Leninists generally that Marxists that believe that unless you study Marx, you can't have even say you're an anti-capitalist or whatever. Almost, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's right. Yeah,
but I knew that capitalism was bullshit. Like I don't know, 14. When I fucking tried to work a job and they told me I only get $3 and something an hour, I left. And then I fucking went to school and told them these fucking assholes tried to fucking tell me I'm going to work for $3. And they're like, actually, it's $2.50 for the minimum wage. And I was like, what the fuck? So, yeah, that was, so you get what I'm saying? I mean, that didn't take theory. I'm like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
no,
anyway.
it's just gatekeeping nonsense is what it is. It's like holier than thou religious people who say, well, you don't believe in Jesus the way I believe in it, therefore you're wrong. That's people who do the same thing with communism.
Well, and I hear some people try to say that are Marxists. They say, oh, well, communism and anarchism can't work. And I just laugh because then I read them what communism. So I said, do you know the ultimate communist society would be socialist, classist, moneyless, stateless, thus anarchist.
Yep.
And so I'm like, you guys are like debating a lost cause here. Anyways, so as an anarchist, so I care about the whole world and all its people. So I don't even have an issue. Like, what the? I don't even think to my own self. And not just even where I live, but absolutely the whole world. That's why I do so much stuff on history of the whole world, you know, because it mattered to me and it still does, because I care about everybody. We all matter. To me, we are all one humanity, and I want us all to flourish to greatness. Because to me, we rise by helping each other.
Yep, for sure.
And to me, it's you have to remember, like that picture I sent you, you know, of the anarcho-communist theorist. It says mutual aid is not just for Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. Papa Kropotkin.
That's right. So the far right is usually angry, which is reactionary, because they're being judged by the content of their character and rather the color of their white skin.
Yes, that's right. They can't stand that the things they say and do are actually bad.
Right, exactly. It's just horrible. It's like I told you, I can deal with everybody except for people that will tell me that human rights don't exist. I cannot even deal with those people. I have no desire to, let's put it that way, not can't. I can. I feel like, especially after taking, college courses on psychology, I can talk to anybody almost, even intoxicated, angry, violent, whatever, because guess what? That is what counselors have to do.
Yeah.
So it's not like a shocker to me, right? That literally, so I was trained to do this, street activism or whatever, because I got a college degree for psychology, so I could actually help, because one of the like, not a minor, but one of like a little sort of off classes I took was on juvenile delinquency, because I wanted to help kids.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm dealing with juvenile delinquents, Corey, or what society would call juvenile delinquents, are those kids that want to learn, want to listen, are good behaved?
Well, usually they're kids who are they have issues, right? Like they're often resistant for one reason or another.
Right, but see, this is what's interesting. If you ask somebody like, "Hey, are this bad kid?" They go, "Well, they need to get some counseling." But then if I tell you about a situation, I say, "Well, you can talk this out, or it can be, managed in a non-violent way, through like counseling." They don't believe it, but they do believe in the counseling. It's bizarre. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I was to me, like, I've told you before, is even though we don't like to hear it, me included, it's always the teacher. That's in my opinion. Always, it's always teaching.
Yeah.
No, it really is. Because if I could die to my ego, which I like to say, which is when I'm able to, because I can do it a lot, but I'm not perfect, right? It's ability of just removing you.
Yeah.
I'm not there as a person who has hurt feelings. I'm not there as a person who gets angry. I'm not there as a person who wants to tell my side of it. I am simply there to teach.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And so to me, that when I can do that, when I can master first myself, then I'm able to do it. And I got a chance to talk about some of that in a thing recently with a bunch of archaeologists and scientists about disinformation. And
I saw you were speaking in a space, right?
Yeah, correct. I did. I spoke. Did you listen to it?
I didn't get a chance to listen to it. I just got a notification saying you were speaking in this space, and I was like, "That's really cool."
Well, and here's another thing too: is the reason why I am in spaces like that with actual academics and scientists and archaeologists and anthropologists or whatever is because I do care about science, and they understand that. So, you know. And I want to champion them too. I want to help them too because I care about science. Man, science for the win.
For sure. For sure.
Like, anti-science is just cringe bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway. So speaking of that, let's go back to the thing about the pyramids or in the Kurgans. So click on the next picture. It says the Caucasian progenitors of the megaliths, Kurgans, and pyramids. See, so someone else is thinking kind of like me, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm not claiming that I'm the only one that's able to see these obvious connections. and I'm not talking about, globe traveling white people. I'm just talking about the ideas are similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this shows a Kurgan. The reason I want to show you this is it's a big mound. See the guy in a horse on top? You're like, where? Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, way up there on the very small.
That's a horse. So just a might bit big, right?
Yeah, it's pretty decent size.
But that's not how. But I want you to understand that is not how all are. Some are smaller, but also it's like the Americas. A lot of mounds like that were dug into or flattened.
Right.
They could have been also flattened to disrespect the culture. Like white people always did when they met indigenous people.
Yeah,
and still do. And in fact,
they talk about that
even white, like the Indonesian government. Remember, we just watched that video where the Indonesian government was sounding white colonial as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, they talk about that a little bit in the like as in related to the Americas in that book that we're reading, The Mound Builder Myth. There's some of that stuff in there about how some of those mounds got leveled off so that they could plant crops or whatever.
Right, yeah, and he's referring to this book right here.
Yeah.
So the Mound Builder Myth, it's the fake history and the hunt for a lost white race. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of bullshit. And America was basically, as people understand, almost founded on this bullshit myth.
Yeah. Yeah,
because it allowed white people to say indigenous people are interlopers on white-owned land, which is crazy, right? I mean, you go, what the fuck? Did your tinfoil hat come with fucking, like an extra tinfoil? Like, oh my God, what?
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute. Indigenous people are on white land. Whoa, 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 whoa. What?
Yeah, hold the phone there. Okay.
No, so that's just and
pretty wild stuff.
But then you hear Graham Hancock and you're like, wait a minute, isn't he saying that a bunch of white people did this? Or even if he didn't, it's this advanced white race or advanced race from Atlantis or wherever the fuck. Anyway, so I think it goes back to the Kurgan. So this Kurgan is big, some are small, some are actually smashed and gone. But notice it has megaliths around it, right?
Right.
So like Stonehenge. So it has like a round Stonehenge around the mountain. So we're still back to that these things are not really disconnected.
Yeah.
Right? So you're thinking just a burial mound. Well, it's a burial mound with like Stonehenge around it.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll get off of this. We're not going to read this article. I care more about the pictures right now because I want you to understand what we're talking about and why they're similar. So click on the next picture I sent you, which is about China. But anyways, because I'm trying to show you Kurgans. These are like Kurgans, right? But these are dirt, but they're also kind of like pyramids, sort of, right?
Right.
And one is in stone and kind of like a pyramid, but it's still kind of like a Kurgan. So I'm just making a comment that our distinction of Kurgan, speaking of which, that reminds me, I want you to go to the web and go Kurgan. I'll go with you.
Okay.
Kurgan. And then we're going to go to, of course, Wikipedia. I just want to show you. So click on Wikipedia.
Yep.
Right. And then it says a Kurgan is a type of tumulus. Okay.
Okay.
Now I want you to go back to the web. Keep that page open. Go back to the web and do Dolmen. Dolmen. Right. We're going to go look at Dolmens. What does it say? Because I'm trying to show you something. What does it say a dolmen is, Corey?
A dolmen or portal tomb is a type of single chamber megalithic tomb, usually.
But if you read down, it says blah, 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 and then it says a tumulus.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes we're covered with earth or smaller stones to form a tumulus.
Right. So it's crazy that Damien thinks maybe these are connected when they literally do the same fucking thing sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Or similar things. You're like, wait a minute. So I'm just showing you that they're more similar than they're different. So they're both say tumulus. So I want you to click on tumulus just to see what a tumulus is. Go ahead and read what a tumulus is.
A mound of earth and stones raised over a grave or graves. Tumuli are also known as barrows or burial mounds.
And stop for a second. Doesn't that almost explain a pyramid? A mound of stones?
Oh, yeah.
Over a grave?
Yeah, that's right. Pyramids, yeah, that's right.
Right. I'm trying to show if you start looking at like the same notes, like a song, you're playing a song, they start having some of the same notes. You're like, wait a minute. And there's too many. There's too many of the same notes, but not because one ancient culture went around seafaring and taught everybody. That's bullshit. No, what it is mythology that it's complicated and we're going to animistic and we're going to explain it at least best I can so that people grasp it's just beliefs. That's all. Like, why did they do that? You can't explain. Yes, it can. It's beliefs. Well, how do you know? You have to look at all the beliefs. Well, how do you know these other things are connected? You have to look at all the stuff. If you only look at one, you will not understand because you'll think, well, this is totally different. And then if you look down at tumulus, I'm sorry to go to tumulus again, but there's another thing people talk about and think is also separate is called long barrows. But if you notice, what does it say? A long barrow is a
long tumulus.
Oh my God, Corey! Tell me it isn't so.
Yeah,
you're like, wait a minute, Damien. There's a conspiracy. That's probably what Graham Hancock would say. Well, I think it's conspiracy of Wikipedia to prove Damien's theory is correct. Yes. Right?
Damien is the one who wrote these Wikipedia articles.
No, Damien understands the facts on a granular level, which helps me understand what is actually true.
Yeah.
So, and that, like I said, I know sometimes it's overwhelming how many times facts I'm throwing at you, but it's hard because if you don't understand this, then you don't understand. I mean, it's.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes sense.
So, right. And I'm just so let's click on long barrow real quick just so you can see. So long barrows.
Okay.
Click on long barrows, and it says are monuments constructed across Western Europe.
Yes.
How many of them are there, Corey?
40,000.
40,000. Now
enough.
read the next statement again because Graham Hancock's going to think that Damien just mines this shit, just puts like facts or
right.
It's a conspiracy of science with Damien. That's
right.
Right, Corey?
Yeah, for sure.
So But because if you keep reading Log Burial, it says these structures have long earthen tumulus.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even in this one, this long barrow, it even like it says these structures have a long earthen tumulus or barrow. Like
Right.
the words are interchangeable.
Right. So
So
let's recap for people who weren't paying attention. Dolmens, Kurgans, tumulus, long barrels, pretty much kind of the same thing, especially to me in a relation of mythological and a thing. Not so much, but even the construction of what they called, what they're doing. Then you know, I'm just saying, yeah. So
like I understand there's might be a need for a distinction in certain ways, but in general they do the same thing, they serve the same function, and they are inspired by the same mythological
that
belief.
is the issue, or a similar one, a version of even, you know. So that's to me what it is. It's not that because they don't all share the same religion. They're not all Graham Hancock. They're not all the same myth. But they're kind of similar, and that's why it happens.
Yeah.
Not because of what you think is happening, fantasy-wise.
Yeah.
Right. So you I know you're kind of getting. Let's go back to the pictures now. So we looked at the ones there, and then I wrote some Kurgans are thought to be made of dirt, and were in pyramid shape.
Yeah.
And Kurgans are 7,000 years old, but pyramids are under 5,000. Then I sent you that other picture of the Royal Kurgan, and it's from the 4th century BCE, so 2,400 years ago approximately. And it's a tumulus, right? Let's see that tumulus, and it says Kurgan. Anyways, and then it also says burial, borrow. You know, isn't that crazy? It's just like they're just throwing these words back and forth. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like these words all kind of relate to the same fucking thing.
Now Corey is getting it because people tell me, well, Damien, Kurgans are certain things. I'm like, dude, don't talk to me. If you don't really know what's going on, just, you know, go research first. So that you can not find yourself in error later.
Yeah, that's right.
Because thinking that you can somehow debunk me in this is be hilarious. Because, like I said, Corey now can you just go himself to Wikipedia and go, either there is a conspiracy where science is trying to prove Damien correct and Graham Hancock wrong, or maybe it's just the truth, and I build my ideas off of, I don't know, facts.
Yeah.
Right? So now let's go back to that picture. So that picture that it says the Royal Kurgan, right? It has like a stones and like a long walkway to the chamber, right? And if you look at the picture I gave you below of the Egyptian pyramid, it's kind of doing a similar sort of thing.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah, that's very similar.
Right, and so that's a pyramid in Egypt. So it's not because it was built by the same person.
Yeah, no.
Right? It's a shared mythology that we're going to have to take, about 6 weeks to explain, but it will be worth it.
There you go.
I mean, don't you feel like you have a better handle on this than you ever did before?
Oh, yeah. No, I never really gave it much thought before. But
but now that you're seeing the actual facts, then you're like, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, you see the two structures, they seem pretty similar. You see the different, like, and again, you connect it with the other stuff that we've discussed, and like the DNA and the mythology moving around, and like all of it together. Like, yeah, it paints a picture of like, okay, so these ideas and the way they built these things, it moved around. So that's why you find similar structures in different places that have similar themes behind them.
Correct. And not just one culture did this. So then the next picture is Kurgans, and it's also showing like rings like Stonehenge, which of course I will have to send you. I'm going to send you Stonehenge right now, because that ring with nothing or borrow or whatever, that actually is how Stonehenge started. It didn't
Oh
have
yeah.
a bunch of stones. I will send it to you. No, I already did send you. That's right. It's right next to it. I did good. I was planning ahead. No, because I'm like at night trying to think, what do I need to give Corey so he'll see like a concession of how this is really
Right.
Yeah. And other people too. Like, but my just so you know, it's not that I'm trying to like sit here and force Corey to learn something. It's just I use Corey in a sense as a way to model how well I'm teaching everyone else. If I'm doing all this stuff and Corey's like, man, I'm not following it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just saying, if you said that, then I'd be like, oh, okay, then I need to explain more.
Need to do something differently. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do something differently. So I see the picture. You're looking at it from Stonehenge?
Yeah. Stonehenge paganistic burial and astrological ritual complex in England.
Right. And you see where it says Stonehenge 1? That's Stonehenge 1. Little tiny stones.
Right.
And then earth mounds. And like a ditch thing, just the same as the picture you saw in the Kurgans.
Right.
Or next to Kurgans, whatever, also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because go back to that the original picture, not the Stonehenge one, but the original picture right above
there's
it.
Some, yeah.
And
there's
you notice there's
some mounds in them and some that don't, right?
There you go. But even so, it shows that the Kurgan actually has one of these rings around the Kurgan. Just trying to show you, because you know why, Corey? It's mythological. It's astrological. It's not like, because I know they say, what are those moats for? They don't do anything. Yeah, it's a religion thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't make sense.
Think of a lot of the things that people do now that don't have any just like real reason for them.
Right. Speaking of which, there's I'll send you a picture. There's a thing in Hasidic Judaism or whatever. Anyways, but where they swing chickens like to atone for sin. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
Well, I'll send you a picture. It's a rabbi doing it. But so, and then that actually goes back to the world egg thing, really.
Okay.
Yeah, because chickens hit the Middle East about 4,000 years ago when the Jewish DNA starts showing up, or Palestinian, Canaanite DNA, whatever. And Lebanon. Remember we talked about this? They're related.
Yeah.
And the Kurds are also, but they stayed. They didn't, go down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You saw it.
Yep.
So, and could you read what it says?
Yeah. So it says Caparo ritual, a Haredi Orthodox man participating in the Caparo ritual in Ashdod, Israel.
Right. So I'm just saying. So going back to what you said, people will do things now and they'll have no fucking. I bet you if you asked them, hey, is that relate to the cosmic egg? They would be like, no. But I would go, yeah, but it does. Originally, it does. And they'd be like, oh, no, that's a Chinese concept. And I was like, well, let me let you know a little secret. Chickens 8,000 years ago were domesticated in China.
Right. Huh.
So when those ideas left with the chickens and got to India 6,000 years ago, got to the Middle East 4,000 years ago, got to, I think now this part I don't remember, but it got to Rome. I don't remember when, but exactly. Maybe it was, I don't remember. But they get over there and then they get to England and stuff, but it's all from China. And here's the thing too, even when they get to England, just to remind people, and this is the Middle East as well, that when they get there, they're religious items. They are from China. They're a religious concept. They don't eat them. It's more religion than whatever. And sacrifices. Like people make fun of the Haitians or doing chicken sacrifice, or voodoo doing, or Yoruba religion doing chicken sacrifice. I'm like, yeah, that was a common thing. So you're picking on like them as like bizarre. Everyone did that, including Jews. They kind of still do it, but they do it in a sense in a more symbolic and less just cut their head off kind of way or whatever, throwing blood everywhere or something.
But Christians don't do it right this second. So that's so clearly it's it's okay to be bigoted about, I guess.
Well, right. Well, because here's my thing. I already told you. Either you should be an atheist and see all religion, to me personally, as just culture. So then you shouldn't really be doing too many picking on people. The ideas may be not justified, but I don't think we should be, or feeling people are less than, like, well, that religion's less than. They cut off chickens. I'm like, well, you know what? Actually, that's still a thing.
Your religion's not actually better.
We'll read about this, of course. But also, did you know that chicken fighting was part of a religion? Yeah. What they had is they had them fight, and then whoever won, that told you about the future.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's divination, which shamanism is all about. And Graham Hancock, that's what goes with the ethnography about divination and shamanism. You know what doesn't? Levitating rocks by prayer or whatever the bullshit meditation crap, whatever the, So,
well, how else did they get those heavy stones up there, though?
There's a whole bunch of ropes and wood and shitloads of people. Yeah. And authority. That's how.
Yeah.
So let's go. Speaking of which, as you see on there's a picture of a person in a golden suit with a hat and all that. I sent you. That was inside a Kurgan.
Oh, is that right?
It's a royalty. Like, cause see, Kurgan, we already talked about this, just like pyramids. Not everyone gets a Kurgan.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Really, royalty gets Kurgans. That's or I guess high, clan families or something. Anyways, but once again, it's like elite, hierarchy. Yeah, and it looks like it. So I'm just making a comment. Then look at that's all gold, or I believe it is. But I'm just saying. So it like we already talked about. That's why I care about all this too as an anarchist. This is about hierarchy. Every time I see a mound or a pyramid, I don't think, oh man, did aliens do it? I think, fuck, there's some fucking authority right there.
Yeah, that's right. That's part of the hierarchy of their society, right?
Right. And see, that's a more accurate way to view all this, is see this and see, oh, there's Elon Musk. Oh, there's Bill Gates.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how you should see this. Yeah. Or whatever. I mean, you that's more accurate to me.
Yeah. Although,
so let's click on what.
Apparently, I was just going to say, although there's a lot of people who would gladly build a pyramid for Elon Musk.
People are sycophants to billionaires, and it's gross. But
yeah, it's very gross.
Especially if they now if there was a rich person that I do kind of respect, he said it is a shame, or what did he say? It was I was thinking shame and character to die with wealth. So he said, if you get rich, then your goal is to give it away in your lifetime.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so I can be wrong. There was a good rich person. But you know what? 1 out of a billion is not going to cut it.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyways, so good. Let's now click on the Cossack mountain picture just so you can real quick about what it says. Just I want to show you different stuff than just what I said. You get my point? I want to hammer this home that it's not just me thinking this shit.
All right, which one am I looking for here?
The Caucasian progenitors of megaliths, Kurgans, pyramids.
Oh, that one again? Yeah.
Well, I want you to click on it.
Yep.
Just because I want you to go down and see there's a picture where there's people on a smaller Kurgan.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right? So that, just to give you an idea, they're not all huge.
Right.
And so we're not going to read all this. I just wanted to I want you to read where it says Kurgan culture, because I think this is helpful.
Okay. So, Kurgan culture. Kurgan means mound builder. In Latvian, Kurm means mound, hill, which corresponds to Sumerian Kurma, a star rising, all with the same root Kur, hill or mound, as in Kurgan.
Right, so pause for a second. Once again, it's like Graham Hancock could say, well, there's a conspiracy with mythology in Damien, right?
Yeah.
Right? So first it was the science is out to get Graham Hancock and prove Damien right. Now the mythology's doing it. There's a big conspiracy, Corey.
Yeah, it's a pretty big conspiracy.
All the facts are on my side. Ooh.
It surely must be aliens.
I know. I must be wrong. All the Graham Hancock we need to listen to, even though I know it's absolute ludicrous, and I'm explaining to you what's correct. And the crazy thing is, even when I show you not just my stuff or something or bias, it still says what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, because if you build your ideas off of the facts, the crazy thing is you're usually right. So go ahead and read what that says. Kurgan culture, a little more.
Okay. So Kurgan is the Turkic term for a tumulus derived from the Iranian Scythian root gur khan, or grave house or mausoleum. These are mounds of earth and stones raised over a grave or graves, originating with its use in Soviet archaeology, now widely used for tumuli in the context of Eastern European and Central Asian archaeology. The word is ultimately of Iranic origin, gur khana, grave house or mausoleum, later adopted by Turkic languages. Therefore, it is often misrepresented as a being of Turkic origin, more specifically from Tatar, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, from a word meaning fortress.
So pause for a second. And there's a lot of stuff I told you before, which I even wrote a blog debunking in the sense. The guy says, well, Damien, 24,000 years ago, all languages are related to Turk. And I'm like, whoa, no. And so I show, I made a blog and explain that Turkic is only 5,000 years old.
Right.
So anyone that says that Turkic is older than 5,000 is inaccurate.
Just wrong. Yeah.
So, Korean is 5,500. So it's 500 years before Turkic. And they come from the same group of people. So my point is, should I call all Turkic people Koreans? They were first.
Or,
the answer is no, that's wrong also.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, because it's different groups, just like it's different haplogroups, right? That you can't just say all R is the same. Speaking of which, I did send you, I think, R. I want to address, because going back to Graham Hancock's R, right? Because he says R goes to America. And then he talks about, that there's evidence in the Americas. Well, but he says that white comes from R1b. There's an issue, though, with that understanding that he does. That let's go real quick. Let's go on the web. Go to ancient North Eurasian first.
Okay, ancient North Eurasians. I may have Googled this before.
Oh, I'm sure many times.
All right.
Okay, so ancient North Eurasians. So you see where it says the Marat culture, and if you look at the picture, it's around Lake Baikal.
Right.
You got to blow it up to really see that little stupid picture. But if you click on it, I think it changes, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But it's still got a circle, an orange circle.
Right, but if you blow it up, I have mine blown up to 200, and you can see it better. Where it says, because you need to see it is the issue. I want you to see what it says. Actually, I could care less about the Soviet cave. All I care is the blue dot and the red dot. Okay. Do you see that?
I'll go back.
One says Malta Bird. It's a blue dot, and the other one says Afantagorva, and that one's a red dot.
Afantagorva or whatever it is.
You see that on that map?
Yep.
And then Marat Bara is right on the southern tip of Lake Baikal.
Right.
And then it gives birth to that other culture. That other culture is where blonde hair, light skin comes from.
Right.
Okay.
Which I feel like we've talked about that in the past.
I absolutely, but yes, we have many times, and we'll do a whole video on just pale skin or whatever, and to talk about everything about the word origins, everything a lot better, because I know we haven't really gone totally into depth, but so My point is that so Malta Bora is not where the light skin comes from. It's the next one. It's the one that starts to mutate. But this is an issue. So we got to click on that Aphantagoras. Click on that little thing, and it takes you to it, right?
Yep.
You do it? Right.
Yep.
So you go down, and it's a burial. I think it's Aphantagoras 2 or 3. Let me
2, where human fossil
you got to
remains
go down where it
found.
says 2 and 3 remains were found.
Yep.
Okay.
Human remains of Fontova.
Well, I want you to go where it says. Yeah, but you need to go to the. You're at the first one, right? There's like three different ones or 2 different ones. The first one is where it says sites, and then it says 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
So just go ahead and read 3 because that's the only one we care about, and then we're going to go down further and read 3 again.
Okay, so Aphantagoras 3 is the site where the initial excavation was undertaken by Ivan Savinkov in 1884. The site was disturbed by mining activities in the late 1880s, and the site consists of 3 layers.
Right. And that also means usually time. 3 layers would be 3 types of time.
Right. That makes sense.
So now we're going to go down again, and it says 2, and then it says, because I'm pretty sure, is it 2 or 3? Let me look. Multiple. Okay. Yeah, it is 3. Okay, but as you go ahead and read 2 first and then 3, just because it says some interesting stuff about them too.
Okay, so Aphantagoras 2, the human fossil remains of Aphantagoras 2 were discovered in the 1920s at Aphantagoras 2 and stored at the Hermitage Museum. The remains are dated to around 17,000 BP. In 2009, researchers visited the Hermitage Museum and extracted DNA from the humerus of Aphantagoras 2. Despite significant contamination, researchers succeeded in extracting low-coverage genomes. DNA analysis confirmed that the individual was male. The individual showed close genetic affinities to Malta 1 or Malta boy. Aphantagoras 2 also showed greater genetic affinity for the Caritiana people than for the Han Chinese. Around 1.9 to 2.7% of the genome was Neanderthal in origin. Aphantagoras 3, in 2014, more human fossil remains were discovered at Aphantagoras 2.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
Let's go back to the Carina people or Caritiana people. Because this is important because we're going to find out, okay, so they said this. I'm going to show you how to do DNA or how you can start researching things to understand. We need to really do a whole video on just DNA, on how I can do it on like Wikipedia and stuff. Because then you can go investigate for your guys yourself and not just listen to anyone. Not even
right.
All right, so go ahead and click on that, and then what does it say? Carina people are what? From where are they from?
Brazil.
So hold on one second.
Indigenous Brazil.
Let me throw a guess. You have a person in Siberia who is male, correct?
Yes.
And goes to the Americas. Graham Hancock is happy. Graham Hancock, you need to remember, let Corey tell you, what DNA could that possibly be?
Oh, was that Q?
Yeah, Corey knows. Damn. Hell yeah, it's Q. Right? So, and where did Q go? Let me send the map to you again, just so we can clarify. I know you've seen it before, but where does it go? It literally goes to Brazil.
Right.
So, because I know this needs to be debunked. It was not R, and Q people are not white. Thank you for playing.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to be said.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not a maybe if he's wrong. He is totally wrong, and there's no way he could be right. Yeah. So, actually, first I'll send you the picture that shows the two DNAs, which I know you already know, but everyone else can know why you know. So there's a picture. So that's Lake Baikal, and it shows how Corey knows that QDNA is on the west side. It can't be cDNA because at that time, cDNA was on the other side and did not interact with those other people. So when they find those people over there at 17,000, there's no cDNA there yet.
Right.
cDNA doesn't come, I think, until 10,000 or 9,000 or 8,000 or 7,000, something like that. I don't know exactly, but certainly not maybe 6,000. I don't know. So I just, all I'm saying is I didn't look for that detail. So I only claim details that I feel confident about.
Fair.
But I do know it is not, sure as hell is not no 17,000. Oh, hell no.
It wasn't. 10, yeah, it's not 17,000. So
yeah, if it's over 10, the answer is it's only going to be Q or R. So if it's not R, guess what else it is, Corey?
It's Q. Yeah.
It's Q. See, I mean, it's a process elimination.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's also because I've showed all these things, and people need to go look at the blogs and stuff, because everything that I say, I know just probably sounds insane until you go look at all the stuff that I've, put together to explain it. Unlike Graham Hancock, I'm not giving you theories. I'm showing you the facts and how they relate.
Yeah.
And then my theories, I guess, about what the facts are doing. But it certainly is fact related. So I just sent you the thing of Brazil, right? So it shows QDNA, which you already knew, and it shows how it was on the west side, not the east side of Lake Baikal, correct? Yes, great. And then it goes over and down to Brazil.
Yeah.
Right. And the first shell mound in Brazil shows up with QDNA at 8,000. That's the first shell mound. And then all those white things on the edge of Brazil right there by the coast, pretty much, those are all shell mound areas. Right. So just mass shell mounds. Anyways. Oh, also, what DNA does it say, Corey?
Q QM242. Yeah.
Oh, and what is QDNA with the indigenous people? The non-Graham Hancock, with the Damien?
QDNA is 94% of the indigenous peoples of Mesoamerica and South America.
Right. So
94%.
I don't know. Is that a big deal, Corey?
That's a pretty big number. Like, that's most of them, I would think.
Okay, so let's go back. So the fact that so we're learning something, Graham Hancock. We're learning that there's a person in Otovagora 2 that relates to the QDNA people of Brazil. Okay, we can close that down. Oh, actually, no, go close it down. Go back so we can talk about number 3. I just wanted to make a address really quick. So Graham Hancock says people went over because he's made this comment before, or written, where he says something about, well, the Otovagora, which have the white hair, the light hair, the blonde, and have light skin, alleles or whatever, the first ones, that they're the closest related to the peoples of, say, Brazil. Yeah, the QDNA, the non-white people, those ones, yes.
Yeah.
Which Corey already knows. The RDNA was doing other stuff. I know it's crazy. Let me send you a picture, Corey, that I know you've seen a gazillion times, but we are going to always show this because you need to understand it is not possible what he thinks. It's just, not only does he not, so I'm saying he has no evidence, Graham Hancock, but his ideas are wrong and a misunderstanding of what the DNA is talking about in relation to cultures.
Right. Yeah, because all the RDNA is going the other way.
Correct. Right? And all by land, too, by the way, not boat seafaring people.
Right.
Yeah. Land, and some more land, and with an extra dose of a little land.
Yeah.
So, and we can see what time. So 17,000 years ago, where was R1b males?
That would have been
the Middle East.
Europe, or Middle East.
Not even Europe. Europe doesn't go till 14, Corey.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
17, right?
Yeah,
Graham Hancock,
right.
Listen. 17,000 years ago, where, Corey, was the limit of the little place that R1b was at?
Yeah, that's just in that.
Only the Middle East.
Yeah.
Only. Nowhere else. Only the Middle East. Thank you for playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like,
nowhere else. Not in Africa, which is 8,000.
Right.
Not up in the in the Cossack Mountains in the steppe, because that doesn't go up there until 7,000 to 8,000.
Right.
So if you're talking about where was that DNA, Graham?
At 17,000? Yeah.
Ponder. We can go. We know this thing called facts, and what the data sets support is that it was in a very small, little tiny area. Not globe traveling, spanning the universe, or any nonsense like that. Once you understand, because there's a thing called facts and limits to facts.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Like, that's what I was trying to say, that things don't do everything. This thought that things do everything is wrong. Very wrong. And also, not when you hear that this culture relates to things, doesn't mean it's the same DNA. And I'm showing you it isn't. And Corey knows it's Q, so it's not R. Q does go to the Americas. It's literally, the data supports Damien's theory of the Q goes to the America to Brazil, since 94% of the people are that. So I think the facts are, I don't know, leaning my way. Yeah,
because didn't his theory require that the R went there, but then left no DNA?
Well, actually, so I just want to show something. So the other one that does go to the Americas, okay, is Q and not R, right? So we've classified this. Now here's where Graham Hancock's confusion. There is two types of DNA. One is male, one is female. That's what they label them as, put it that way. Because, of course, I don't agree that that's the limit, because I'm intersex and there's other kinds of things that go on. But anyways, I'm just saying, as far as DNA classifications, there's Y DNA and mtDNA.
Right.
So this is very, very important, Graham Hancock. You should have checked better, because the one that you're claiming, I'm sorry, is a girl. Now, I know that they might be a trans person, and I appreciate your thoughtfulness to acknowledge trans people. But you're wrong that this person's DNA was going to the Americas as men.
Yeah.
Now, just so we can look that up real quick, because it's just so juicy and funny. Let's go click on where it says, okay, I know. Sorry, I got to slow down. Just read where it says, or I'll read it. It says DNA analysis confirmed that the individual that's talking about number 3 was a female. So, Graham Hancock, did you hear that? Your great male white hope is a female. Okay, mtDNA analysis, right, of the Avatar Greece says it belonged to mitochondrial, which is female, haplogroup R1b, yet not male R1b.
Right.
Which we know went to the Middle East and was doing nothing else but sit there. Or I guess trying to build, go back to Jeffy.
I guess,
So go ahead and click, Corey, on R1b. What does it say?
It's a widely distributed human mitochondrial DNA group, haplogroup. Haplogroup R is associated with the peopling of Eurasia after about 70,000 years ago, and is distributed in modern populations throughout the world outside of sub-Saharan Africa. Haplogroup R is a descendant
pause for 1 second. So the Graham Hancocks think like the Great Hope. Oh, good, it's everywhere. Well, yeah, Graham Hancock. Haven't whites taken over and colonized the earth?
Yeah, that's right. Like, that's very modern kind of.
Yeah, that actually doesn't prove what you think it does. So, just if they think that somehow they want to champion other people too, want to champion and help Graham Hancock. Like, why? He's a liar and he's wrong. Yeah. You noticed that right above that it says, for the Y chromosome, which is the male one, haplogroup, go to this other link. Right? Because it's literally not the same thing.
Yeah.
Just saying. So when he was, because I think Graham Hancock had a chart of like the Native American DNA and tried to be all frisky that somehow that, but he's showing you the male. In fact, I should probably show it to you. because I'm going to look real quick because I think I might have it. What he's talking about. But like I said, we already established that he's wrong because he's referring to the male. And we know, first off, that also went to the Middle East, not what he says. But it's worse than that. I don't know what that is. Okay, I don't know where it is right now. But so worse than that, though, is that what it actually the DNA is from is not male at all. So clicking on the male link, which go ahead and click on it, right? So this is different, right? It says click on the male link. What does that say?
Okay, so that says, what's that?
And it's got over in the corner, it's got a whole different picture.
Yeah. It's similar to the one we just looked at, where it shows R1B over in the Middle East.
Right. So so he's wrong, and then also if he thought it was that, he's also wrong. So he's wrong, and he's also wrong. So he's wrong if he thinks it's male, but it's also wrong because even if it was male didn't do that.
Yeah.
Right? I know it's hard, but if you look at this little thing, like you said, it pretty much maps what I drew, because the other thing is me like drawing lines and stuff, trying to make it understandable. Right?
Yeah.
And so you see the R, right? And then it says, where's R at? See, it says descendants, subclades, or prehistory of Europe, Central Asia, South Asia.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because those are the next places that the people of the white were going to.
Yeah.
Especially with that DNA. It came from, and it says right here, RM207 has long been present among Native Americans in North America. A theory that has not been widely accepted. Oh, Graham Hancock. Your theory is not widely accepted.
Yeah, it says some authorities have suggested controversially. Which authorities is that?
Yeah. Let me tell you something too. They know that the DNA splits off of a European thing, so it cannot be that. Right. Because there's this crazy thing, these little numbers and stuff. Yeah, they help tell you what's really going on. But let's look at where it says, because it says a certain thing, right? So what is the claim? The claim is that R207, which is the older one, which is like what, 27,000 years old or whatever. Yeah. So let's go and down and you look at some of where it says R distribution. See where it says distribution? Where's R?
Yes.
How many places in America is R right there? What does it say, Corey?
Let's see.
You have to go scroll down until you see it, until the subheading is distribution. And then the next thing says Y haplogroup.
Is common throughout Europe, South Asia, and Central Asia. It also occurs in the Caucasus and Siberia. Some minorities in Africa also carry subclades of RM207 at high frequencies. And while some indigenous peoples of the Americas and Australasia also feature high levels of RM207, it is unclear whether these are deep-rooted or an effect of European colonization during the early modern era.
And I'm telling you, it's from the modern era.
Right.
But as I told you anyways, it doesn't matter. It's a fallacious argument because the people we're actually talking about, Graham Hancock, was a female DNA that had the white skin.
Right.
So you shouldn't be looking at what males were doing, since the female is the issue.
Right. That's the one that was discovered. So
with the actual light skin. Which go ahead and read it now. But you get that. I know this is probably hard logic for some people. I don't know why, but go ahead and read. Well, I'm saying that if you just look at these facts, how does this not totally debunk what the fuck he says to me? But anyway, so no matter which way, even if it's the fallacious male DNA that was inaccurate, because that Aventura 2, which has connections to the Americas, was a qDNA. And then the R1B that you were hoping for, the males don't do what you say. And then the actual DNA wasn't even male anyways, and it did different things. Yeah. So anyways, so I know that can sound like, I guess maybe it's all confusing, but Yeah, the DNA is definitely not on his side. Of course, he does say he has no evidence. So
Right. Yeah. It's a pretty strong statement.
yeah. But so go ahead and read Avantagora 3, just because I'm trying to hammer home how wrong he is. I want people to feel confident he's wrong. And this is what you can show that he's wrong.
So in 2014, more human fossils remains were discovered at Afontovagora 2 during salvage excavation before the construction of new bridge over the Yenisei River. The remains belong to 2 different females, the atlas of an adult female and the mandible and 5 lower teeth of a teenage girl, Afontovagora 3, estimated to be around 14 or 15 years old. Initially, the new findings were presumed to be roughly contemporaneous with Afontovagora 2. In 2017, direct AMS dating revealed that Afontovagora 3 is dated to around 16,090 CAL.
That means
BC.
Calibrated. When they say that, that's supposed to be that it's not a guess. Or it's more of an accurate guess, and that's what they're kind of saying.
Okay.
This one is calibrated, which I also feel like, yeah, but generally, if you're still giving them the simple version, which it's not accurate, it's not 16 to 90. It would be 1690 plus or minus 250 or 1,000 years. That would be what it would say. So let's be honest now, Mr. Calibrated. Sure. So I just generally just say 17,000, but it could be 18,000 or whatever. But my point is, it doesn't matter. This is not the male line, and the male line at this time doesn't do what Graham wants it to do anyways. And then the DNA we do know did go was Q, so you're also wrong about who it was and what color their skin was and what they did.
Right.
Let's get off of this. I want to go down. Does it say where? Oh, just go down where it says blonde hair. I want you to just. Oh, yeah. I know things that I haven't let you read it.
Okay. Blonde hair. Phenotypic analysis shows that Afontovagora 3 carries the derived RS1282126 allele associated with and likely causal for blonde hair, making Afontovagora 3 the earliest individual known to carry this derived allele. The allele was found in 3 later members of the largely ANE-derived Eastern hunter-gatherer populations from Samara, Matoala, and Ukraine, 10,000 BP, suggesting that it originated in the ancient Northern Eurasian population before spreading to Western Eurasia. The hundreds of millions of copies of this mutated allele, a single nucleotide polymorphism, are at root of the classic European blonde hair mutation as massive population migrations from the Eurasian steppe by a people who had a substantial ancient North Eurasian ancestry entered continental Europe.
Right, which like you said, we kind of already talked about, and I told you one time we're going to really do a whole thing about white skin.
Right.
And I also told you I really hate that whole fucking term white skin as anyways.
Yeah.
I feel like it's absolutely bigoted because it doesn't mean light-skinned Koreans.
Right.
Which there's some Koreans that are fucking lighter than white people.
Yep, for sure.
I think they're white. So, and it doesn't, it's not the Chucky who are up there in Far East Russia,
right?
The polar Arctic, and that are look like porcelain dolls sometimes, or can, not every single person. But my point is, what do you mean by white if it's not just some bullshit racist crap? It doesn't even. It doesn't. It's not like it's you get my point. Racist. Yep. Try to act like even the term is legitimate. White people. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it's just not, right?
You don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
And you don't even put. See, do you mean that as a color we see? That not knowing culture, but just simply a color. So not the shape of their eyes.
Right.
Just the color, right? Because you don't say eye shape makes you white. You say color, white skin.
Yeah.
But if we're talking skin color, then the real white people are the Koreans or the Han Chinese or somebody up in eastern Siberia and shit where they look like they're almost glowing. They're so white or tan.
Right.
Every single person.
Yeah.
Just saying to racists, if we're going to use your category, here's the fact, dumb fuck, you're not white enough.
Yeah. It's that's the thing. Like it's
right, stupid fucks.
It's completely contrived.
Right? You get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
If on their logic,
if
it's really light skin, you're not white enough. The real white people must be Asians.
Right.
Not you. Not you.
Yeah.
But that's not how the real world works. The real works, you mean European, you racist fucks. That's what you mean by white. Anyway.
Yeah, that's why whiteness or racism in this way came out after European kind of fighting and colonization, right? Because they needed to create this separation.
Separation, because they said, holy shit, there's other white people. Fuck, these people are whiter than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, then what do? Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, the white race should rule. And you're looking around going, so you were saying millions of Chinese are going to rule us?
Well, like, which white race? Like, the ones that are slightly tanned or the ones that are?
Which tan is white and not
That's
white?
right.
When does tan become not white?
Yeah.
You see the absolute horseshit. It's like race realist fuckers that I've debated before or argued with or whatever the fuck about that somehow race means something. I'm like, when you understand DNA, you realize how fucking stupid you are. You're just absolutely fucking ridiculous. But anyways, going back to this thing, but I do love fucking hating on fucking bigots. So, but
for sure,
let's go back to, and then it says it says it was in Ukraine at 10,000, right? But I sent you another picture. Well, but that's not totally accurate. Maybe it's in Ukraine there, it stayed there, but it certainly went across before that. Go look at the art that I sent you.
Right.
What time does blonde hair get to the Baltic? 13,000. What time does it in the arrow? See the blonde leaves Lake Baikal and A&E DNA. Do you see that?
Brown eyes, light skin, blue to light brown eyes.
Right.
Where am I?
Right, but do you see that the yellow, the big arrow, and it hits the hunter-gatherers?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep. Yeah, blonde hair 16,000 years ago. Yeah. Okay.
Right. But that's just a rough thing. I'm just making it.
Yeah.
It's probably, they said it could be 18, but I don't really care. My point is that's way older than is appropriate for what the people, because see, do you know why this looks different than R1B that's male, right? Why does it look different, Corey? Why is it doing something different? Because it's not the male DNA. That's why. It's the female. Yeah. So females went straight north, with R1A. They went together. The R1A dudes took the R1B females. Uh-oh. Anyways, just I know. They're just trying to be funny. But that's kind of what it looks like in a sense. With the art, you get because see R1A, right? R1A goes the same way to becomes the Eastern hunter-gatherers sort of, areas. And but R1B is there too. But not because of that what way exactly, but so you see that the yellow has to do with the R1B female line, that yellow arrow,
right?
Which of course we already said you read relates to the blonde hair. That's what that blonde is. It's just showing how people got blonde hair. It went to the Cossack Mountains down towards the Middle East, which didn't go all the way obviously, but
right.
And then it goes to the Baltic and to, Russia or, Eastern Europe, and then goes down to Ukraine a little bit. And some of the people from the Cossack Mountains go over to Ukraine also to give them the lighter hair skin or whatever.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, we can get out of that because I just wanted to show you what I'm talking about. So when you're mentioning these DNAs, it's not like it's just choose your adventure like Graham Hancock.
Right.
Think.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's not just make up your own story as you go, right? Yeah.
Right. You mean I hate to stretch a point, but you should follow the facts, or as I like to say, facts should lead your beliefs, not your beliefs leading your facts.
Yeah.
Because then you can make a mistake, right? You can be in error because you could see R1B like Graham Hancock and think, see, they're talking about males had blonde hair. I'm like, did you read it was a female?
Right, eh? Yeah.
So you're just saying, or when you say another statement that he said, well, the closest people to Native Americans are actually not the Malta boy, but the Otomagora. Yeah, but as Corey knows, the reason that is the case is because of QDNA and nothing to do with R, and they weren't white people. So, no. So nothing, right? So you get nothing that he's saying matches to me, the DNA.
Yeah.
And if he wants to say, well, it happened and it's not shown, I would say, well, now it's a fantasy because there's no evidence to support that.
Yeah.
And if you want me to take you serious, I know it's a burdensome thing for people that have fantasies, but you need to show me some facts.
Yeah.
Because you know what's going to change my mind? Facts.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's like I guess you think about what he's doing, right? And it's got to be, if you take him at face value and assume it's not a grift,
right?
He's just wrong. What does he think is going to happen? Is he going to change all of the evidence by just saying things? Or does he have to actually, if he wants to appeal to the archaeological community, does he have to actually come forward with evidence that supports what he's saying and refutes what they're saying?
Or right. And or here's the challenge.
Appearances on Joe Rogan don't convince archaeologists that what you're saying is true.
No, but if he wants to debate someone, he can try to debate me. I certainly know enough to mop the floor with him.
Right.
So, but I really choose not to go on Joe Rogan because I don't want to support a channel that I feel allows scumbags to come on there and just talk fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
But I would say this because I was thinking about it today because I was like, I really do hate that metaphor. Not Joe Rogan. I'm talking about Graham Hancock's bullshit.
Yeah.
I was thinking, how much should I be willing to go to where it needs to be done? That I've done street activism. I've certainly gone to places I fucking almost endangered myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to support a piece of shit. Like I don't want to support Nazism, or fucking transphobes but I thought, I guess what I could say, what I would feel better at doing is if I did go on Joe Rogan, I would say I want to be able. I would only go if I can openly say before we debate that I do not like Joe Rogan's show. I do not support the kind of content that he puts out. And the trash, I am in no way a supporter of him or his ideas. And so me being here is not a representation of him having any credibility to me. Yeah. If I could say that, okay.
Yeah,
because then I would feel better. Otherwise, I feel like everything I just said they'll think the opposite. Well, Damien must support this shit. Or Damien's okay with this shit. Or Damien thinks, you see what I'm saying? All the shit that I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe you're against Graham Hancock, but you're on Joe Rogan's show, therefore you implicitly are okay with everything else.
Well, and I'm going to seem kind, right? I'm going to seem kind to Joe Rogan. I'm not going to sit there and spend my time, if I'm trying to debate Graham Hancock, also debate what kind of garbage Joe Rogan puts on the show.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going to sound friendly and no attack to Joe Rogan. I'm supporting. I like Joe Rogan. You get what I'm saying? That's the issue. But I thought, the way to solve that is openly being able to say before the show that I don't, what I feel. Because then I thought, because that's really my issue. I'm not scared to go on that show. I don't want to be on there because I don't want to be associated that I'm like okay with that or support that anybody.
Yeah.
But if I can say that, then I would feel better. because I really do feel that he like racists use his stuff to support racism. So it's literally a racist issue. Attacking Graham Hancock is a necessity because it's anti-racist to do this. To me, I mean, don't you feel that that's kind of a truth?
Yeah, for sure.
Attacking Graham Hancock's ideas is anti-racist to me.
Yep. Yeah, because it's a fight against white supremacy because his ideas are propping up white supremacist ideas.
Exactly. And I fucking hate white supremacy. It's fucking terrorism.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's go back to the mounds. So, I think though that even though I know this is all complex and I kind of jump around, I think you're it's coherent to you're getting that why he's wrong.
For sure.
Also, not just the fact that we're fighting racism, because I do feel like we should be everyone should fight Graham Hancock because they're fighting racism. And even if Graham Hancock doesn't say a racist word out of his mouth, he is projecting stuff that is absolutely wrong that then gives support to racists. So I would be attacking it if that alone, even if I thought Graham Hancock was the swellest guy, which he's not to me.
Yeah.
Because I don't care if he sounds nice. That sound is not the issue.
Right. Yeah.
The content of your character also involves your behaviors and your thinking. It's like if you think that it's okay to be racist, even if you're not, let's say you're not racist, but you think it is totally okay. And in fact, it's offensive that Damien attacks racism so much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. Fuck you.
No. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck that shit.
Yeah, that says something about your character for sure.
It does, right?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? There's no way out of that to me. No. Which is why when people say that values don't matter, I'm like, dude, that is a value you're taking right now.
That's right. Yeah. It's like that, not to derail us too much, but it's like that discussion you were having with somebody who was talking about like reality not existing or something. And it's like, but you're basing that in reality. Like you personally have a view of reality that involves these contradictions and you're totally like in this. Like, you can't just say it doesn't exist.
Right. And I've talked to that person like for years now. So
is that right?
Oh God. If I didn't think they were a decent person, I'd probably just block them. But I know they're not a bad person. They just have, I don't know, this block or something about this shit. They want to tell me first, they want to tell me all these facts about reality, and then they also want me to believe that reality also is not real.
Yeah, like you don't get it both ways.
I'm like, hey,
I'm sorry.
I'm a rationalist. Things have to fucking match logic in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Okay.
A.
I told him you're giving me an internal contradiction.
Yeah.
You cannot say science has proved that reality is real. Reality is not real in the test that it's from the reality that is not real.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing people always do with quantum physics is they always use it to say, oh, well, reality isn't real or whatever. And they try and say, oh, well, this guy won the Nobel Prize proving that. And you go, what? Like, you can't prove that reality isn't real. You're basing that in the reality we exist in.
Yeah, we'll have a video about Damien's thoughts about how reality and everything for sure. I don't want to, because I could go off on this.
Right.
I feel like a philosopher. I'm telling you. Oh. So one of the issues is, I'm just going to address that person, right? What they brought up, because they think that somehow should convince me, and it doesn't. And then they get mad and tell me I'm delusional. And I'm like, oh God, you just can't reason with people. So they say science has done tests and can prove that they can simulate something and trick your brain into think it's occurring when it's not. Like they can put a fake arm and they can stab the fake arm, and they can make you think that that's your arm, and your mind reacts at first, even though it doesn't continue to feel pain or something. but it reacts with shock because it literally thinks it's being harmed because it. And I said, okay, the mind is it's like a video game, right? The mind is trying to perceive what it's going. Sometimes in a video game, it's too fast and you lose, right? You get shot, killed, hurt, whatever, fall, don't run. Okay. Because it's too fast.
Yeah.
Does that mean it wasn't a bunch of real things? Just because your perception can't catch up to reality, just like people have said before, that sometimes in a violent, car crash, which happened to me, everything slows down in a sense.
Right.
Well, that's because our perception just becomes more aware of all the details for a second, which we normally don't do. That doesn't mean reality disappears when we don't perceive it. I'm like, oh my God, that makes my brain hurt. Don't you get that?
Yeah, like my perception of reality and reality don't necessarily have to always line up perfectly for reality to exist.
Well, you could be totally off 100% of the time.
That's right.
Still fucking reality. Anyways, so I don't want to go into all that. But yes, it's and I try to use the be nice and kind, and I just stopped talking to him.
Fair.
So I said a couple comments. I tried to help. I said it's an internal contradiction. I tried to help him understand that you can't be what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm done.
I don't know how to. Yeah.
I tried.
I
tried. Yeah, you saw. I wasn't being mean. Didn't call them names. Nope. I was trying to help and try to say, here's what's wrong. But when people don't get it, sometimes you just got to go, okay, my time is worth other things, and I'm going to be moving on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So speaking of that, let's go to the next blog, right?
Okay.
Which was the Kazakhstan unearths a 3,800-year-old hexagon Turkic burial mound. So kind of like a Kurgan. But also not very high off the ground, right? And it looks more like a medicine wheel in a square form or hexagon form than it looks like a burial mound. Do you see that?
Yes. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. That's an interesting shape.
Showing you that this is also, in a sense, like a Kurgan almost. But it almost looks nothing like the other stuff.
Right.
So I'm just saying that people's conception, if it's limited, it's going to be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So we don't have to read any of that because what says the vast steppes of Kazakhstan hold a deep historical significance with numerous mounds and stones. Right. Because once again, they're not. It's not like I told you. We already the other pictures. A lot of times it's mounds and sort of almost Stonehenge sort of things together.
Right.
They're. Once again, like I said, this stuff's connected. It says, but it says bearing symbols and markings. Yeah, because this is all really just like Göbekli Tepe having symbols and markings and stuff.
Right.
Makes
sense.
I'll close it down. Yeah, I just wanted to just show you that, because it matters to help grasp all this stuff, I think. Now let's go to the next one. We're just kind of looking at the pictures. So I want you to get a full understanding of what a Kurgan can look like.
Right. So it has a variety of different things. Yeah, this looks kind of like just a mound, a dirt pile almost, like
but with a weird shape. A whole bunch of rocks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so we'll close this down. I'm trying to help. Oh, this is what does it say here? According to article, read that one actually. According to an article in the Journal of.
According to an article in the Journal of Archaeological Science, the peoples of the Eurasian steppe began to build kurgans around 4000 BCE. They continued to bury their dead in kurgans into the early and high Middle Ages up to around 1450 CE. Over this roughly...
read the next thing because that's important too.
Okay. So over this roughly 5,400-year period, cultures, peoples, and funeral rites likely changed over time. Despite these changes, the people of the Eurasian steppes kept burying their dead in kurgans.
Right, so you can close it down. But you see that once again, it's kind of all the same, but it's not always the same. Also,
right?
And it can look like pyramids. It can not look like pyramids. It can look like dolmens. It can not look like dolmens. You know what I'm saying? It's But but it's not one person doing all these and trained everybody.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
As you see, they literally do it all different. They're all kind of similar, all kind of the similar mythology, but they're doing it differently. Let's look at the next one. Rare 5,000-year-old Kurgan.
Yeah, rare 5,000-year-old Kurgan type tumulus from the Bronze Age unearthed in Istanbul.
Tumulus? What the?
Yeah,
What the? They're all the same. They're just going on here. Corey, is it just the conspiracy just keeps growing?
It must
they want
be.
to keep proving me correct? I mean,
yeah, surely that's what it is, right?
Right. But it can't be that Graham Hancock's wrong. So it has to be, right? It has to be a conspiracy. Somehow all this stuff is intentionally put out there so Damien looks correct. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Let's close that down.
Okay.
Go into the next one.
Right.
It says art and learning.
Art needed, remaining nomadic structures.
Yeah, don't read that. Just go down because it shows pictures. These are people doing Kurgan pictures. I just want you so you can see some ideas of Kurgans.
That's cool.
Right? So you get like kind of a little idea, and then go down. It shows like them building it from sticks and actually from the ground.
Yeah.
And then the whole process.
Very cool.
Right?
For sure.
And the last one you see end up with a mound.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So you can close it down.
Which is like a conical pyramid.
See, you're getting it, right? Is it starting to not seem so different?
Oh yeah, no, they seem like slightly different, but sort of the same too.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So we'll click on the next one.
Okay.
And the next one, this Kurgan is very low, but it's probably been destroyed. But the point is, what's around it is square. And I told you before, there's a belief in Chinese mythology that the earth, just to understand, the earth is square, like a pyramid, and the sky is round, like a dome.
Interesting.
So, and right, but so you can see that this square thing probably relates to that mythology.
For sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so many of the others, it's a similar idea. Like they build the mounds in sort of a way that their mythology tells them that the world is, or the universe is, or whatever.
See, you're getting it. Because it's not, once again, these are all not just about a burial, Graham Hancock. They're about a mythology.
Right.
Right. It's more than just the thing. And so they're doing these for mythological reasons. It's not they go, today I'd like to do it square. And before I get it round.
Yeah.
Corey's like, Damien, yes, they do. So let's look up Chinese mythology, right? Go on the web. Just to make sure I'm right, Corey, Don't want to be tricking you. Chinese mythology. See, everyone could even look along with us if they wanted.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go down and figure out where to look. Go down where it says numerous myths delve into the creation and the cosmology of the universe, its origins, deities, heavenly habits. You see that? It's like the third paragraph. Let's see. 1, 2.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Paragraph.
Yep, I got it. Yeah,
so
numerous myths delve into the creation and cosmology of the universe, exploring the origins of deities and heavenly inhabitants. Some narratives specifically address the topic of creation, unraveling the beginnings of things, people, and culture. Additionally, certain myths are dedicated to the genesis of the Chinese state. A subset myths provide a chronology of prehistoric times, often featuring a cultural hero who taught people essential skills ranging from building houses and cooking to the basics of writing.
Pause for a second. Doesn't that sound like Graham Hancock's bullshit?
Right, eh?
So why doesn't he say they're the great Asians? Maybe because he would prefer they be white people.
Well, it sure seems like maybe that'd be the case.
Because it really would sound like a better version of the Chinese mythology than the shit that he just comes up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, if they yeah.
But so I want to go down where it says ancient myths. See that?
Yep.
And then it says Pangu, right?
Yep.
Pangu relates to the click on it. Pangu relates to the excuse me, the Chinese mythology of the cosmic egg. Look right down where it says, in the beginning there was nothing, and the universe was formless, primordial state. This primordial state coalesced into a cosmic egg about 18,000 years ago. Like, what? 18,000 years ago? Whoa! Wrong as fuck. The universe is just a shit ton more than that. Hell, the fucking Earth is older than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Humans are older than that.
That's funny.
You know, Graham Hancock's ideas are, well, okay, maybe not, but they're older than that. They're certainly older from the 1800s. That's what I was thinking, 18,000.
Right.
Yeah, his ideas are from the 1800s. When they're like, he's revolutionary, he's a renegade. Dude, he's pushing racist shit from the 1800s. The fuck are you talking about?
That's right.
Wrong.
Yeah.
If he's anything, he is a reactionary.
Yeah.
And he also thinks that these myths say there's going to be an end of the world doom and cataclysm or whatever.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Or, you know, like Armageddon bullshit. Yes, I'm sure Christians love his ideas also. But
of course.
To help support equal bullshit nonsense. Anyways, so good. So, and hold on a second. What does that relate to? Within it, the egg, the perfectly opposed principles of yin and yang.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. So all this stuff is the yin and the yang, and Damien's been talking about is being connected to stuff. It actually is connected to the egg. You see what I'm saying? How like a lot of this stuff is it could be thought of as separate things, but then when you start reading, you're like, wait a minute.
Right.
So let's go back to actually no, click that one off. Go to where it says Chinese creation myths. Go look at that. Go look up that. Because you'll understand once you start reading them. Online, where it just says, just write Chinese creation mythology.
Oh, you want me to Google it?
Yeah. Chinese, yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I should have been better at saying that.
Well, I just kind of assumed it was somewhere on the wiki page.
You're fine. That was my fault. Chinese creation myths.
All right. Chinese creation myths are symbolic narratives about the origins of the universe, Earth, and life. Myths in China vary from culture to culture. In Chinese mythology, the term cosmogonic myth or origin myth is more accurate than creation myth, since very few stories involve a creator deity or divine will. Chinese creation myths fundamentally differ from monotheistic traditions with one authorized version, such as the Judeo-Christian Genesis creation narrative. Chinese classics record numerous and contradictory origin myths. Traditionally, the world was created on Chinese New Year, and the animals, people, and many deities were created during its 15 days. Some of these Chinese cosmogonic myths have familiar themes in comparative mythology. For example, creation from chaos, Chinese Hundun and Hawaiian Kumulipu, dismembered corpses of primordial being, Pangu, Indo-European Yemo, and Mesopotamian Tiamat, world parent siblings, Fuxi and Nua, and Japanese Izanagi and Izanami, and dualistic cosmology, Yin and Yang, and Zoroastrian Ahura Mazda, and Angra Mainyu. In contrast, other mythic themes are uniquely Chinese. While the mythologies of Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Greece believe primeval water was the single element that existed in the beginning, the basic element of Chinese cosmology was qi, or breath, air, or life force. And Burial explains that Ki was, or Chi, was believed to embody cosmic energy governing matter, time, and space. This energy, according to Chinese mythic narratives, undergoes a transformation at the moment of creation so that the nebulous element of vapor becomes differentiated into dual elements of male and female, yin and yang, hard and soft, matter, and other binary elements.
Right, that's good. But you see what I'm saying? We'll click out of this. We could, like I said, you could read tons of stuff about the mythology.
For sure.
But we're going to address them later.
Okay.
But I do want you to get that it is involved. You can't logically understand why they're doing these shapes if you don't understand, like,
right,
what's going on. Then you start to look at what they're doing, and okay, that makes more sense. And guess what? It's not aliens, and it's not other nonsense. Let's go to the next one real quick. And this one, it says archaeologists discover an ancient step pyramid dedicated to a horse cult in Kazakhstan. So
okay.
Step pyramid Kurgan.
Okay.
4,000 years old, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty old for that. But remember, there was one. There's Kurgans at 7,000 and 5,000, and the
right
4,000, like 500 or whatever or something, is how old the Egyptian pyramids. So just showing you that people understand that this all is at the time of or before or close to the Egyptian pyramids. So in other words, people don't know how to grasp is Egyptians are not the only ones. That's what I'm trying to help you understand. They're doing it in Russia and Kazakhstan, and it's basically they're calling them Kurgans, sort of, but they're also sort of pyramids.
Right.
And the fact that you don't know about them doesn't actually mean that they don't have any value. It just means you don't know about them.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, and you can close it down. We don't need to, I mean, because I could spend all day reading all these stuff, but I want you to the big picture of how this is really not crazy that I'm saying all this is connected. So go to the next thing.
Okay.
Next link. It says
early Scythian
Kurgan burial.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to blow up to see the pictures, I think. But
yeah. But
you can see like there's a circle mound, right?
Or
something. And then there's one's like a hole, and then there's a mound with a big monolith rock on top of it, right? Sticking up like a world tree or Axis Mundi. I'm just making a comment. Then there's a wood figure, right?
Yeah, these are neat.
But I'm saying, so it just shows you some of the Kurgans, and you see a lot of rings, right? See, there's a ring with not a Kurgan.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, see how the rings and the Kurgans and the stuff, yeah, this stuff is not disconnected in the way people think it is.
Right.
Okay, so we keep going. Now we're going to go to pyramids. We're just here pyramids real quick.
Okay.
What does it say? A pyramid.
The step pyramid first, or
well, I think the pyramid is first that I sent you, right? And then the second one. Oh, I just sent you step pyramid. Yes, that's older. Yes, read that first. You're right.
Okay.
And then read pyramids. The step pyramids actually were before the pyramid. I mean, what most people think of as the pyramid, the shape, is actually a later shape. The first pyramid did not look like that. The Egyptians did not build it like that. They built it a step pyramid. So it's just saying, which is like the ones in the Americas and other places, including China has a 5,000-year-old dirt step pyramid with some stones which is a Kurgan in China. So I mean, yeah, and Kurgans do that too,
right?
Like, you mean a bunch of squares, like the world is square and the sky is round? Bunch of squares on top of each other to make a whole bunch of more squares, and that gets to heaven? Yeah. It doesn't. Oh, I'm not missing it. No, I get it. Go ahead and read it.
All right. So a step pyramid or stepped pyramid is an architectural structure that uses flat platforms or steps receding from the ground up to achieve a completed shape similar to a geometric pyramid. Step pyramids are structures which characterized several cultures throughout history and several locations throughout the world. These pyramids typically are large and made of several layers of stone. The term refers to pyramids of similar design that emerge separately from one another, as there are no firmly established connections between the different civilizations that built them. And then the first one is in Mesopotamia, it looks like.
Right. That's a ziggurat.
Okay.
And what it was first that mound under it, and then the thing on top is called the White Temple. See, it says White Temple.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, so that thing that was first built is kind of like a madrasa, which is the thing in Egypt that's before the pyramids, even the step pyramid. Which, speaking of which, let's just go to madrasa, just so we're not I'm making shit up. Let's go to madrasa. I don't know how to spell it. Sorry.
Madrasa.
There it is. I found it.
Sometimes transliterated as madrasa, the Arabic word for a type of educational institution. No, probably not.
Let's go back to pyramid. Maybe it says it there, the word madrasa. Let me look real quick. Because that's what was the first. Oh, here it is. Oh, I'm sorry, people. I go down where it says ancient Egypt, Corey.
Oh, on the one
that's the step pyramid, just go ancient Egypt, because this is what I'm talking about. And then there's the word or mastabas. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Dude, I already said, people, facts I understand. So I wasn't wrong. Just spelling and pronunciation or whatever, I'm not that great with. But the fact I understand what is happening.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read what it says. The earliest pyramids.
Yeah. So the earliest Egyptian pyramids were step pyramids. In the first dynasty at Saqqara, a large step pyramid-like structure was found within the interior of Mastaba 3808, dating to the reign of the pharaoh Enedjib. Egyptologist Walter B. Emery found other mastabas of this late first dynasty period that may have been of similar design, in which several inscriptions depicting step pyramids during this era are also found, mostly credited to.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's click on Mastaba to go and read what that is. Just because I know that I'm remembering my wife saying, Damien, no one knows what the fuck you're talking about. So just adding another word they don't know is not helpful.
Fair.
Right? 10 words to explain shit, and you don't know what any of them mean. Like that's not helpful.
It's not helpful, eh?
No. So let's read what it is real quick.
Okay, so a mastaba, also mastaba or mastabat, is a type of ancient Egyptian tomb in the form of a flat-roofed, rectangular structure with inward sloping sides, constructed out of mud bricks or limestone. These edifices marked the burial sites of many eminent Egyptians during Egypt's early dynastic period and Old Kingdom. Non-royal use of mastabas continued for over 1,000 years. And the word mastaba comes from the Arabic word. It's in Arabic writing, which sounds like mastaba or stone bench.
Right. Pause a second. Stone bench. So in a sense, it means one step of the step pyramid. In a sense, right? Okay. So it's not. You get to the point.
Right. So mastaba is
you can sit on, right? So it has to have at least one step to sit on.
Right.
You're not sitting on the top. You're sitting on, and if you look at it, it kind of the way it slopes. It's anyways. But the point I'm trying to say is that I think, and in fact, the art. We'll click on the art. So now you know what a mastaba is, right? We're going to go to the art I sent you that has pyramids and kurgans. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see it?
Oh, maybe that's not the one.
It's got pyramids in it, and because 1 is a kurgan, 2 is a ziggurat, and then 3 is the first Egyptian step pyramid.
That's not the one either.
It also has like a Stonehenge looking items on it below the 3 things on top.
This one. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Right. Number 3 is
Right.
the pyramid. So go ahead and read the writing on the bottom where it says.
Okay.
And by the way, what it's referring to is like a pillar, just so you know, by itself. One single, the first thing, a musbath, whatever, is similar
Right.
to a pillar, which is
Okay.
a mirth is like number 4. Or
Okay.
I have that. Oh yeah, 4. Yeah, that's 4. Yeah. Number 4 is a mirth, just one stone, in other words. One like a finger or like a dick, whatever. Hard
Right.
dick. It's one stone. Just understand. So that's what the first thing is saying. Just if you didn't understand.
Okay. So mass of both, similar to much smaller than a European menhir, dates to around 13,000 to 11,000 years ago. In the Near East, Kurgan, a burial mound over a timber burial chamber, dates to around 7,000 to 6,000 years ago. Dolmen, a single chamber ritual megalith, dates to around 7,000 to 6,000 years ago. Ziggurat, a multi-platform temple around 4,900 years ago. Pyramid, a multi-platform tomb, dates to around 4,700 years ago. Number 3 is a step pyramid or a proto-pyramid for the burial of Pharaoh Djoser. It went through several revisions and redevelopments. First, there are 3 layers of mastaba, house of eternity, a flat-roofed rectangular structure, then 2-step pyramid, one on top of the other, showing the evolution of ideas.
Right, Graham Hancock. Someone did not teach them to build it as it was at the end.
Right.
They literally rebuilt it like 5 times or 4 times or whatever the hell. And then they got what became the step pyramid. So it's literally ludicrous for you to say that someone came and taught them all that.
Right.
When they literally fucking fumbled around in the dark and like kept making bigger shit until finally they made it the way it is now. Like you fucking know, there's no way. So saying, ingenious people came and taught him everything. That's how come we ended up with pyramids. Like, no, that for sure is not the answer. How do you know that? This little thing called facts. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if we follow them, Corey. I mean, we obviously know there's a lot of people that don't seem to care because they keep following a person who literally admitted on a debate, I have no evidence.
Yeah.
I don't know how that wasn't the end of that dude's career.
It really should be like the moment everybody stops listening to him, right?
Yes, absolutely. even if you had all the best of intentions, right? You would after that go, okay, what the fuck?
Yeah.
For me, Anyways, we'll click down because we're going to do pyramids in our day. So we're done with pyramids and we're done with the madrasas. Just trying to show you really quick, once again, that yes, it's always an evolution. No, it wasn't special. No, it wasn't someone teaching them everything. No, it wasn't aliens. See what I'm saying? Because aliens is wrong. Oh, it took aliens 5 tries to get it right? Oh, it took this advanced race 5 times to get it correct? Or did it take people that didn't know what the fuck they were doing 5 times to fucking do it the way they wanted it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, Corey. Which seems more logical?
It's always going to be the one with no aliens involved.
And also, from the facts, we could say if Graham Hancock was right and the Great White Race gave them stuff, they gave them shit because they took 5 times to fix it.
Yeah, that's right. The fact that you have five revisions and 1-step pyramid inside of another one because you built on the outside of it, no.
Right? Don't you feel confident now to go, okay, that's just complete bullshit.
Yeah, like that's just trial and error. You worked on it, you found out you didn't like it, or it wasn't what you needed, didn't match your mythology or whatever.
Isn't it like, to me, it's like a nail in the coffin to that bullshit that it was somehow given to them in one piece.
Yeah,
how the fuck is that? That can't be the answer.
No,
literally can't be the answer. I don't know what the answer is exactly, but that can't be the answer.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So, but anyways, like I said, we'll do pyramids another time. But I still felt like all this it helps to me to see what I'm talking about. Like
Right.
it's kind of all related. Okay, so let's click out of this picture. I feel happy. I feel like we're coming along. We're getting this. Let's go to the next link, which is Ice Maiden. See that?
Okay. Yep. Siberian Ice Maiden.
Go ahead and read it.
No, the Siberian Ice Maiden, known locally as the Princess of Ukok, the Altai Princess, Devolcha, and Oki Bala, the heroine of Altaic epic, is a mummy of a woman from the 5th century BC, discovered in 1993 in a kurgan belonging to one of the Pazyryk burials.
Okay, pause for a second. So let's look at that. And also, I wanted to say, like I told you before, so who's getting buried? Is it the peasants that are getting Kurgans, Corey?
Some kind of princess, it would appear.
Oh, it's not the workers' graves, Corey. It's the elite. So this is still, like an anarchist should know, this is still about hierarchy.
Yeah.
Corey and me are not going to ever get a Kurgan. Sorry. It's fucked up. Or a pyramid, right? Not the or a dolmen. Fuck, we're not getting even a fucking dolmen. They're not getting a tumulus of any kind.
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So let's click on what a Polatsky, whatever,
Pazyryk burials.
Go ahead and read what that says on top.
Okay, so the Pazyryk burials are a number of Scythian, Saka, Iron Age tombs found at the Pazyryk Valley and the Yukok Plateau in the Altai Mountains, Siberia, south of the modern city of Novosibirsk, Russia. The site is close to the borders with China, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia.
Right. And the interesting thing is where it says Novosibirsk, Russia, click on that. See a map where it is? Down there where it is a map in Russia?
Yep.
Okay. That is an interesting thing because that is actually where the first Kurgan at 7,000 years ago was.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Interesting. So that Ice Maiden, just to bring that up, later in the Iron Age. So let's go look up Iron Age because Damien does not remember what the fucking I think it's 3,000. Let's look up Iron Age. IRON. Iron Age. What does it say? It says. I hate when they don't make it to. Just go ahead and read where it says in Anatolia, the Cossack Mountains. You see that?
In Anatolia and the Caucasus or Southeast Europe, the Iron Age began during the late 2nd millennium BC or 1300 BC. In the ancient Near East, this transition occurred simultaneously with the late Bronze Age collapse. During the 12th century BC or 1200 to 1100 BC, the technology soon spread throughout the Mediterranean basin region and to South Asia between the 12th and 11th century BC. It further spread to Central Asia, Eastern Europe, and Central Europe.
It's just saying the iron technology. So the point is that so when we're talking about that burial, right, of that chick that was buried as a princess or whatever.
Yeah.
They're talking about something that's in 1300 BCE is basically, it's about, you add 2,000 years to that, 2020,
Yeah.
And that 2024 years and you would get the thing. So it would be basically 3,324 years.
Right.
So, right. So that's giving you a time frame. But so what I was saying is the 7,000 years ago, though, this same place was where there was the first Kurgan.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So roughly like another 3,500, 3,700 years earlier.
Correct. This is I think this then goes to the Ukraine, and then they start the Kurgan stuff there. But anyways, let's go back to the burials. It says the tombs of Scythian type Kurgan burials are like tombs are mounds containing wooden chambers. You see that?
Yep.
Covered by large. Go ahead and read that.
Okay, so the tombs are Scythian type Kurgans, barrel-like tomb mounds containing wooden chambers covered by large cairns of boulders and stones, dated to the 4th, 3rd centuries BCE. The spectacular burials at Pazyryk are responsible for the introduction of the term Kurgan, a Russian word, into general usage to describe these tombs. The region of the Pazyryk Kurgans is considered the type site of the wider Pazyryk culture. The site is included in the Golden Mountains of Altai UNESCO World Heritage Site.
You can keep reading.
The bearers of the Pazyryk culture were horse-riding pastoral nomads of the steppe, and some may have accumulated great wealth through horse trading with merchants in Persia, India, and China.
Okay, pause for a second. So, these horse-riding people were the elites, as they're talking about, right? They gained wealth because,
yeah,
that's how you get elite. And so how did they get wealth, Corey? Because remember, people keep telling me that there's never capitalism happening, and that how do you get this excessive wealth?
They don't actually go into it. They say they're trading with these people, but what are they trading?
My point is, though, you're trading goods. You're selling items. You're literally doing capitalism to me. Because guaranteed somebody is making that. And I don't think it's correct to think that every culture just had slaves, or even that every culture that had slaves. If you look at the stuff, it also says commoners too. So, okay, right. There's slaves, and then what are commoners, the workers, doing? Oh, they're working. Oh, for a wage. Oh, okay. Because we already showed you in that the Code of Hammurabi or whatever it was, or one of the, can't remember now, but one of the law code things, it talked about you're supposed to give a person a certain wage. And I go, how is that not wage control and not capitalism?
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying the whole culture is doing capitalism. It's petty bourgeois. It's small things, in a sense, but and the state is still manipulating. But America is manipulating stuff and all the other capitalist countries too.
Yep.
And that's still not capitalism if they're manipulating it? Like, well, no, it's just a different thing going on.
Right.
Once again, I see it as, to me, I do not buy that capitalism is inherent in humans, as you know. I feel it is something that happened from male violence that started 7,000 years ago. It's not actually even directly connected to religion. To me, it's really connected to hierarchy and violence is what it's connected to. Yeah. So that, to me, that is where it comes from, in a sense. Capitalism, I'm talking about. This thought that I can only care about me. Because everybody, and we already explained this before about the older cultures, but they were more egalitarian. You help people. This only me, like the thought of not helping people to them would have been outrageous. Like the fuck. In fact, even speaking of which, in Siberia, right, some of the cultures, they used to give people food. Like to not give people food when you see them was almost like you were evil or something.
Right.
It was
a shameful act. Yeah.
Shameful. Yeah. Shameful. I mean, you not giving was considered horrid. In fact, they used to also say that men could have their wife because you should share. You should give bounty that you have or whatever. My point was, our concept of this not sharing is normal.
Right.
This capitalist propaganda. Yeah. It's not inherent to us to be this fucking selfish or whatever. And I'm not saying that everybody has to share their wife. I'm just making a point but everyone who doesn't want to share at all is ugly.
Yeah, for sure.
Inside. And it's, you know what I'm saying? Don't want to share. But anyway, so I think grasp is the cultures that are going on. Then you can understand why these behaviors, not because they, want to, just only follow the religion. They're also trying to get wealth, because they could be aesthetic or whatever they call that, where you don't have money and you're still religious. So it's because the reason I bring this up, because some atheists, especially probably new atheists, like to say, because I don't consider myself, I'm an atheist. I'm an axiological atheist, which everything is about value. So I don't consider myself part of new atheism.
Right.
Or whatever the hell. But I also don't agree that term means anything, because to me, there's no fucking new atheism's been around at least 2,600 years ago, because it's documented. That kind of skepticism.
Yeah, it's that weird movement of the four horsemen of new atheism, Dawkins and Harris.
Yeah, I think that, but that's a different. So what you mean is a few personalities who were atheist, and maybe even in the atheist movement, because of course the whole atheist movement does not approach Dawkins with love and adoration. I mean, there's some of the atheist movement that may do that, but there's absolutely ones that'll tell him that dude is fucked up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well,
and I'm not even talking about
that number,
ones.
that number has increased over the years, actually.
Right?
There was a time when,
it's like when he said, "Well, I don't think touching a boy, is a big deal, because it didn't bother me." It's like, shut the fuck up, you fucking evil person. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's always bad. It was bad for you, and if you don't grasp that, there's still something bad with you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, there was a time when they were a lot more popular, and I think like even Sam Harris now, his audience is less atheists and more reactionary ghouls.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so hierarchy sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, as an anarchist, there's no convincing that it's going to be wonderful.
No, it doesn't work good. It's not good for anybody.
No, it literally isn't. Yeah. I don't understand why people like it so much and look so highly on it. It's like, it's gross. It's always been gross. Let's close out of that one thing. Let's go back to your inbox or whatever. So now let's go to the next thing. Click it on it.
Okay.
It's an ancient tomb from Siberia of a prince. Because of what I'm trying to show you is princess, prince. See what I'm saying? There's king burials, because it said, remember that one was a royal Kurgan, one of the ones we looked at, right? It was called that. My point is, I'm trying to say another one that had the golden uniform, because you can like dress yourself in gold when you're literally rich.
Yep.
So, but I'm trying to show you, right? But you can close it, because that was pretty much, I just cared about that. It says it's a 2,800-year-old, largest in the region. So, okay. Because I don't want to focus on that. But my point was the fact that the Kurgan being related to royalty, elites, hierarchy, right? So once again, it's not like there's some crazy anarchist tries to find facts everywhere. It's just we have anarchist thinking that the facts seem to support.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Corey's like, yes, exactly. All right, let's go to the next.
It's just one of those things. You try and tell people, like, I'm an anarchist because I followed the best evidence about the way that society works and doesn't work, and I found that many of the things we're doing now just don't work for everybody. Like, it's not for the best.
It's not good. No.
But
so let's click on the next place, and this is to show you too that sometimes there's like sloping pyramids, or sloping. It also is even more than a pyramid. Is ziggurat. Ziggurats often slope as part of their thing. They have like a ramp or whatever. Is what I meant. So this right here is a Kurgan that looks like it has a ramp.
Right.
So click on it.
Yeah.
Just to go ahead and read what it says. Kurgan or whatever.
Oga's Kurgan is located near the lower Zirogozy Nizhny district of Kherson region, Ukraine. The Kurgan is the burial site of a Scythian king from the 4th century BCE. Being the largest Kurgan on the Black Sea steppe, it was located near an important ancient crossroads of the left bank. The construction of the site is dated to 330 to 310 BCE.
Right on. You can close out of that. Let's go to the next thing.
Okay.
It says the gold of the great step, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So once again, this is talking about, because the royalty, right, buried with their money. So the royalty were not giving their money to the poor, which would be the ethical thing to do.
Right.
If you have wealth, you should help people. I mean,
instead they were buried with it.
Buried with it, right?
Yeah.
So you can close out of it, because that just once again showing you how this is royalty shit. Close out of it. Then the next picture is they consider this almost like Stonehenge, sort of like in Russia.
Okay. Arcame.
Yeah. Go ahead and read it.
So it says Arcame, the quote unquote Stonehenge of Russia, a henge-like structure with a nearby Kurgan burial, ritual stone circles, and pyramidal houses. Thought to be associated with the early Proto-Indo-European of the Sint Ashta culture, which dates to around 4,420 to 3,820 years ago. The Sintashta culture, also known as Sintashta Petrovka culture or Sintashta Arcame culture, is a late Middle Bronze Age archaeological culture of the northern Eurasian steppe on the borders of Eastern Europe and Central Asia.
I would say, do you know how hard it was to put the art of those little people on horses and walking and shit? Oh my God.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I drew this. All this art you see is me drawing.
Yeah.
You see the effort I put out for free just to get people to understand that fucking reality is real?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it shows you it's in Russia and where it's at.
Right.
And it shows the king and his wife being buried, you know, where he has a spear next to him and it's a thing of food. And it has a bench, doesn't it? Speaking of, remember the Madrasa called a bench? This has a bench. Interesting.
Yeah.
And so I think Göbekli Tepe might have a bench too, or have one of the things like that. Anyways, but and I drew this person crying because they're dead.
Right.
Anyways, you can click on it just to give you an idea of that culture stuff. So now let's just go to the blog real quick and to talk about the main picture, and then that'll be it. Because this was supposed to explain more than what the blog would ever explain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what this video helps to do. I mean, you should definitely read the blog. There's crap ton of stuff in there. But I really wanted you to understand, you know, that they look different and that they can be similar to pyramids and stuff, and and the DNA. Do you see where the link is?
I've got it. Yeah. We're looking at ritual mound migrations, Kurgans, Dolmens, and later.
There you go. That's the one. So go ahead and start reading.
So we've got the earliest centers of pottery origin on the Russian Far East and Siberia, review of chronology for the oldest Neolithic cultures.
Yeah.
Abstract, the earliest pottery from the Russian Far East, Obisovka and Gromatuka cultural complexes, was radiocarbon dated to 13,300 to 12,300 years ago. In Siberia, the earliest known pottery is known for the Ust-Karenga complex, dated to 11,200 to 10,800 years ago. The Osipovka and Gromatuka complexes belong to the initial Neolithic, and they are contemporaneous with the earliest Neolithic cultures in southern China and Japan. In spite of the very early emergence of pottery in the Russian Far East, there is no evidence of agriculture at the beginning of the Neolithic, and subsistence remains based on hunting and fishing, including anadromous salmonoids in the Amur River and its tributaries.
Right. So, but what this is trying to say, the reason I bring this up is because 7,000 years ago in Ukraine or whatever, somewhere over Russia, Ukraine area, there's the 7,000-year-old Kurgan. There's the culture that leads to Proto-Indo-European. There's the horse burials that leads to later king burials.
Okay.
So, and it has pottery for the first time. So I'm explaining that in other words, it's like, say, Graham Hancock said 17,000 years ago they got pottery. Is that correct, Corey? No,
that is not correct.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It didn't even leave the area until about 8,000 to 7,000 or whatever, maybe at the most 11,000 or something. But it wasn't in the air. You can't have stuff that's not there.
Right.
Anyway, so this is why the understanding more details to help support, your hypothesis or debunk, your hypothesis or whatever.
Right.
So you shouldn't, and like Grandpa constantly wants to extravagate evidence so it looks like it supports him, and destravagate evidence if it doesn't support him so that it looks like he's supported.
Right.
That is not the way to do things. You should look at the evidence plainly. Like anarchists are supposed to do in teaching. You just teach the plain facts, like I'm doing, right? I can use Wikipedia to prove myself.
Yeah,
I don't have to go no famous anything. You can just start clicking on names of the shit, and it's all connects to what I say. You know what I'm saying? So all the facts support me in every way possible. It's almost like there's a conspiracy to make me right.
Yeah. Or alternatively, you're following the facts.
Oh my God, maybe. Corey goes in, and I have talked to Damien once before. Like he knows a fact or two.
There's facts, and then Damien makes assumptions or conclusions based on those facts, rather than there being a major conspiracy of all the Wikipedia writers.
Right. In my favor. Yeah. It because that would be seriously unreasonable.
Yeah.
But so the pottery. So it's real important. And so I'm not going to keep reading exactly this, but to go down where it says, I think Kurgan origins are found in.
Okay. So it says, I think Kurgan origin is found in stratified ritual mounds. From the later 7th millennium calibrated BCE in West Siberia, a new site type emerged in this period, the large stratified mound, Russian Kolm, with examples reaching 50 meters in diameter and up to 6 meters in height. These mounds are characterized.
So pause for a second. I'm not Canadian. What does that mean? 50 meters. What the heck is? Do you know what that is?
50 meters. Yeah. So if you.
How many feet, in other words? Because I'm one of those stupid Americans that can't. 50 meters. Is it half of that is feet? Like 25 feet or something?
I don't know the exact conversion. I can find it real quick here, though.
Because, saying how big something, it helps if you understand what the numbers mean.
Yeah, that's right. So 50 meters in feet is 164 feet.
Oh, so it's more.
So it's pretty big.
Yeah, wow.
And
so it's even bigger than 50.
Yeah.
Oh, so the other probably is 12 feet. So it's probably about 12 feet high and 100 feet wide.
Just about 20 feet high.
Oh, 20 feet high.
Yeah, 19.7. Yeah, it's pretty high.
Fucking massive. 100 by 20? Holy shit.
Yeah, 164 feet wide by 20 feet high.
Right.
So,
in other words, not an accident?
No, absolutely. I would think this is not an accident. Yeah.
Corey's like, no, Damien, see, your theory's starting to match the facts again. What are we going to do?
Yeah. Jeez, eh?
Yeah. Dang it. Is it like this one guy goes, you're not going to, be the Superman and figure out everything. And I said, how do you know that?
Right. You don't know me.
How do you know that? You fucking fortune telling now? Fucking seeing the future?
Well,
how do you know that I will not be the person to figure it out? You don't know that.
The thing is that you don't have to be the person to figure it out, because you can base your things off of the findings of other people.
Right.
So it's a
Right.
collaborative effort of all
True, it
of
is.
science.
Correct. That's why I totally support science. Of course, all I'm showing you is the science, and then it's science because I understand I'm good at seeing the big picture.
Right.
It's super easy for me. I feel like I have a picture that I posted on thing where it shows like a goat, and I'll send it to you so you can see, because I think it's easier when you can see what I'm talking about. But this is how I see the world, Corey, and that's why it's hard for me sometimes, like, to talk to people, because I feel like I'm like on another planet almost, and so it's like really hard. But like I told you before, it's always the teacher, right? So I have to remove me and become better, able to talk to more people than just trying to stay, in some type of high thinking. So go ahead and I send it to you so you can see, right?
Yeah. Yep. So it says, being such a free thinker can be lonely at times, but the view, my friend, it is breathtaking in its wonderment. Yep.
And that's how I see. And when you start to see all these facts that I see and how I can prove it and show it to you right out of Wikipedia, you start to go, okay, someone was paying attention.
Right.
Yeah, well, you already know. I that's why I say, when I say that I've tried to study every language, everything, every culture, every, throughout time, religion, everything, because I want to understand.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But anyway, so now we know about the Kurgans. Let's go up to the art real quick just to show.
Okay.
We'll just finish it with this. So the darker stuff are fortifications that has the lines, the burgundy. It says 8,500-year fortifications.
Yep.
So fortifications start right there, which is Western Siberia, which is, and if you notice too, right below it says Novelist or first whatever. Remember we talked about
Novosibirsk? Yeah, that's right. That's that
right,
city.
Remember the ice maiden that was at later at time 3,000 something. But see, I was telling you that's almost where the Kurgan is, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the Kurgan is not that far from the fortifications, is it?
Nope. No, that's pretty close as well.
Yes. And then the next Kurgan is the S culture, which is also not really that far from the fortifications, right?
Right. Yep.
And so, and the S culture gets both the pottery, and it gets this fortification idea and the Kurgan idea. So how can it not be that they all came from the same place, Corey?
Right.
Right. I mean, that makes little sense. And then they went out from there. So it's not like the ones in Lake Baikal went all the way to Europe. You see what I'm saying? No. That's not accurate, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's not accurate.
They went here, and then whatever happened, then they went there.
Hancock, right?
Yeah.
One people did not do everything.
Yeah. Which seems to be like ultimately the thing that we always come back to, is that one people didn't do everything. it's these people did this, and then these people moved on and did that, and then those people moved on and did that, and
right, exactly. And then that arrow goes south, right, into the M culture and the L culture.
Yeah.
Who both get Kurgans at 6,000. Also, the place that had Kurgans at 7,000 moves down and interacts with the people down there, and you get these other Kurgan ideas. Interesting. And then those people, right, especially the L culture, but the M one also. The M one, I think, gives the language and some of the DNA and goldsmithing and words and stuff to the Sumerians, the M culture. The L culture does a little bit to the Mesopotamia, but does way more to Egypt. So once again, Graham Hancock, one people did not do everything. And not only that, the people from Samaria also went and did stuff in Egypt or relate with them, the ideas. So they're not solely, uninfluenced ideas from these other cultures. So the fact they end up with something that looks like a pyramid, not shocking. Then if you notice too, on the other side near China, the Hongshan culture also had a 5,000-year-old Kurgan pyramid.
Right.
And if you notice, and they have ideas that are pretty close to the Lake Baikal myth ideas, because they have pig dragons that look like the stone face on Lake Baikal.
Right.
So anyway, so you get what I'm trying to say, that it's not like crazy that like, well, how do you get pyramids in China but also Egypt? Must have been Egypt and China. I'm like, yeah, that's wrong. That's very wrong. It doesn't match the DNA. It doesn't match the cultural ideas. That's just wrong. Bunch of wrong. Anyway, so that's it. We'll do pyramids next time, and then we'll do language. Oh, no, then we'll do mounds, the pyramids, and we'll do mounds, the earth mounds. I think, and then we're going to do language or whatever, and then we'll do the mythologies. We'll do each like 4 or 5 mythologies a week, so that way we can. But after doing all this, I know then you hear the mythologies again and again, you're going to go, oh my God, you're going to get it. So, anyways, I hope that was fun, and
I enjoyed that.
You're also getting it, and also that all of what's interesting to me is, but it's not because I'm like trying to. All of my facts to support just like the narrative of reality that the facts support, because that's what I'm trying to show you. It's not like some narrative like Graham Hancock I'm trying to fit the facts to. I'm just going, here's the facts. Look at this, how this is doing this, And so it's interesting though that as the conspiracy towards me, it also seems to debunk Graham Hancock's theories that are all this fancy whatever, nonsense.
Yeah.
So like you said, to recap, it's almost always by land. So this whole thing of the water shit is just fucking ludicrous. So that's ludicrous. The DNA is wrong. And even if it was the male DNA, because it was female DNA that was blonde and light skinned, but even if it was the male, they didn't go over there. And the one burial of that culture that did go over there, Corey knows, QDNA, so also wrong. And then on top of that, that even if for all that, if we still said the one who did it was R, which it wasn't, it went to the Great Lakes. So it went land over a land bridge and then down the land and then to the land. And then from there down all the way to Mexico, all land. And here's another clue. The time frame you want is called the lithic time in the Paleo Native, Indian, whatever, of the America's history. And that time is not like the big shell mound time. It's not the big mound earth time.
Right.
Doesn't have any, they're not building dolmens, at this time. So everything that you literally say is ludicrous. And then you put or how about this to me? I always hear this, the alt history people. Oh, well, they say it's, the 3,000-year-old Kurgan, but, I think it could be older. And you know why they say that? Because in their fucked up thinking, if it's older, then it's probably they knew more. What the fuck are you talking about? That is never the case. Or not never, but almost never. How about
almost
that?
Never. Yeah.
Almost never. Yeah. So when I hear that, I just go, oh, my God. It's terrible. Your thinking is so bad. I feel like I'm on that, like that goat. I'm out down going, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. I feel so far from you. You're not even at the same level that I'm at.
Yeah.
I got a magnifying glass. I think he's down here. And as you see, the mountain of facts that I have is built so high. It is also like I am that goat on the ledge.
Right.
Compared to Graham Hancock, I have nothing. You know what's so funny? Someone tried to say to me that it's wrong. Graham Hancock supporter, by the way. Like, why would you even do that? Anyways, for any reason. Because when someone says they have no evidence and someone else has evidence and you're the one attacking the one who's saying the person with no evidence shouldn't say things.
Yeah.
Like, what? So anyways, the Graham Hancock no evidence. He goes, oh, well, he admitted that, but that was about underwater archaeology. And I said, oh, but it's funny. I have 2 pictures of art of underwater archaeology that I'm sorry, again, supports me. In fact, I'll send you both of them just as our going out thing. That once again, I have the facts and the evidence, and he does not. What's the debate?
Yeah.
So I will send you the right. I mean, literally, it's like a joke. I feel like it's like a clown showed up, and I'm like, this isn't a debate. This is like a dog and pony show or whatever you call it.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
like stupid. Yeah, Graham Hancock. To me, he's not just even anti-science. He's like literally anti-rationalism, because as I'm trying to show you, nothing he's saying. Well, it could be. No, Graham, it can't. Nope. Sorry, try again. It's like saying the Earth is square. No, it is not. I'm not.
It's just not.
Right? How many hours am I going to spend explain to you that it is not square? So this is the first of my underwater archaeology that he has no evidence for his stuff, but lo and behold, this seems to match a lot of the stone things that I've already been talking about.
Right.
And so what does it say, Corey?
So around 10,000-year-old ancient monolith, now broken in half, is resting on the seafloor, about 131 feet underwater. The archipelago disappeared underwater about 9,500 years ago, suggesting the monolith was erected before then. Archipelago area was where the monolith was found. And there's a ritual hole, and the monolith was found off the coast of Sicily, it looks like.
Yep. Anyways, that's fine. I'll go to another one. But my point is, when he says he has nothing that supports him, but I do.
Right.
So not only is he wrong about everything else, the one time he admits and that person tries to go, yeah, but that's not fair because he's talking about underwater archaeology. I'm like, yeah, great, because I have two things about underwater archaeology. And so funny, they actually support me. And one of them actually, I think, relates to the literal earth diver myth or one of the Mounds of Creation myths. So literally, this underwater archaeology is showing that I'm correct. Crazy, but and it also looks like a little Stonehenge or whatever, and it's in Israel or Palestine or whatever, Canaan originally. See that?
Yep.
Go ahead and read that one.
9,000 to 6,500 years old, submerged pre-pottery or pottery Neolithic ritual settlements off Israel's coast. We got submerged sites, Kfar Samir, Atlit Yam, and some other sites in between.
Right. But the point I'm trying to say is it's hilarious to me because even when that person trying to support him tried to give him an out, like Graham Hancock somehow does not need to present any archaeology that is known from underwater to support him. But I can actually show two things that do support me. And that's why I was like, Graham Hancock is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Joke. He's just, it's like fucking foolishness. That's just, I will send you another thing that relates to that last picture. Okay. Because this one is about mythology, because last picture was just showing you all the artifacts. Now we're explaining what Damien thinks about the actual mythology, the way it was set up before it was underwater.
Right. 9,000-year-old Atlit Yam megaliths and Mound of Creation, like the Earth Diver creation myth. A stone semicircle of megaliths, altar stone erected among them in the middle and surrounded by a moat, which suggests that they may have been used for a water ritual.
So pause for a second, right? I'm not thinking. Didn't Damien say that the primordial water myths or whatever is the original myth? So,
right.
Yeah. Like I said, so it's funny that the artifacts, even the underwater artifacts, still relate to what I've been fucking saying.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you have Graham Hancock and his supporter says that all we're allowed to say that he admitted he had no evidence, because he has no evidence of anything. So what the fuck? But that all we can say is it's underwater that we can hold him accountable to, that he has nothing. And I say, cool, I still have two.
Right.
I'm not, and they actually even go back to the mythologies that I keep teaching you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Graham Hancock needs to be listened to or protected or whatever. No,
Yeah.
see, here's the thing. I think the truth is best championed in the sunlight of challenge. Graham Hancock has said shitloads of it. He's been doing this for 30 years. The fact that he keeps peddling the same bullshit after 30 years of archaeologists and reasonable people telling him he's fucking wrong, it's no longer okay to think that this is by accident.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't.
He knows he's wrong.
Story. We don't know if it's grift per se. It would seem that would be a reason, but I don't know. Maybe it's just cynicism, or maybe it's just he loves power or fame. You know,
Yeah.
I'm missing about money because sometimes the value, because I don't see money as anything more than just a form of value.
Right.
Sometimes the value is pride,
Yep.
ego, or whatever. Yep. Right? Like Musk buying Twitter. It had nothing to do with needing to buy Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
he lost a lot of money, actually. So
he's still, in fact, he's lost so much that he's going to have to take and sell stock to literally pay for Twitter because it's actually minusing money. It's a black hole he's now funneling money into, which is, every time I hear that, it makes me happy, though. Like,
yeah, that's right. It was definitely helped by the fact that he told all his advertisers to fuck off, but
that always is, an iffy. But you know what's so funny though? He's so reactionary about it because he's not actually doing something. Because he tries to make it like, I'm for the little man. I'll tell the man to fuck off. Dude, you are the man, asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean someone tried to hold you accountable, and so you want to tell them to fuck off?
Yeah.
That doesn't make us think you're cool. We just go, yeah, that's what an elite asshole would do.
Exactly. That's right.
You're not special.
No.
But anyways, I just wanted to close this with, saying that my goal actually isn't even, just so people know, that you have to believe the stuff I'm saying.
Right.
I'm just trying to show, because I don't really care. Like, whatever, okay. I'm not trying to sell fucking pyramid shit or Kurgans or anything. I'm just trying to show you, here's what the evidence is. Here's what I think about it. These are I call them my reasoned speculations, as I told you before.
Yeah.
And as you see, the more evidence, doesn't it seem reasonable? Yeah, it does.
Yep.
And then how do I know that? Well, let's see. Archaeologists will share it and like it. So, yeah, I think and don't attack me. So, yeah. And I make like a billion ass claims, right? Do I not make more? I'm like a claim generator. I literally, because I'm so bold in what I say. But when you have as many facts in your head or whatever as I do, I don't think it's too bold. If you have like an encyclopedia in your damn brain, and then people are like, "Well, you won't know." I'm like, "Well, actually, that's not right." Anyways, but I also wanted to say too that, like I told you before, my goal is actually not to say, "Oh, how wonderful Damien is." We need to make a Marx-like statue of Damien. Actually, fuck that. My point was, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No. I had told you before, to me, if you want to worship me, worship reason, not me.
Yeah.
Because I think worshiping people is gross.
For sure.
Well, I think that you can appreciate people. I think that's valid. I think that you can acknowledge people's hard work. That's valid. I've worked since 2006. That's why I seem like I know what I'm talking about. Because I work fucking, 10, 12, 16 hours a fucking day. Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and just fucking plow through shit for hours.
Yeah.
Because I really want to know the truth. Not like Graham Hancock because I'm trying to become famous or whatever. Because I told you, I talk about, it's not geared towards fame. It's geared towards explaining all this.
Yeah.
Which you see takes freaking hours.
Yeah, that's right.
And we still got a lot to go. So it takes actually more than hours. It takes freaking months.
It takes a long time. Yeah.
Like Corey's been doing this 3 years and he's like, I'm just starting to get it.
Yeah.
Well, I think you got it a long time ago, but I think this is making it more solid, right?
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
Because once again, what I'm offering wasn't unreasonable, even if you didn't know all this. It's
Yeah,
not like,
that's the thing, right? Like it's not like these are outlandish claims.
no.
They're and even then you offer them with like the caveat of like, this is still just my perception on these things, and
That's
I
right.
could be mistaken. If more evidence comes out, I'll change my mind.
Oh, always.
You know?
Well, that's why I always laugh when people are like, well, what if you're wrong? I'm like, well, then if I'm shown to be wrong, I will change. So
Yeah.
I'm like, and like,
Yeah.
what else is there? What? Everyone doesn't do that? What the fuck?
And definitely not everyone does.
No, I know they don't. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, right? No one, almost nobody seems to do it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I think everyone, leaving. I'm pro science, and I really appreciate all the hard work that John Hoops does, to fight all that nonsense. Because I also appreciate him not just doing the archaeology stuff, but also the stuff about cult and religion. Because I care about all that. Yep. And I also appreciate because he attacks other stuff like aliens. Because I also think there's another realm of nonsense. Yep. And so I really dig him. I think a lot of people should be following him. He should have 1 million followers. He's like,
for sure,
says all kinds of stuff. And it's important to understand the truth, because I feel like I said to you before, we need to support truth. Also means we need to support people telling truth. Yeah. I feel like our show should be supported. We fucking sit here and tell the truth to almost mind-numbing detail.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. It's not appealing, I guess.
Yeah, the truth, right? We're not talking about floating, stones and magical spells working in reality or something.
Yeah, it doesn't make people feel special or cool.
Yeah, no.
So,
but I think
it should.
Reality is cool.
Yeah, I agree. Reality is cool.
More interesting, and the fact that it's culture makes total fucking sense. But also, it's kind of cool because then you see, wow, all these things that people did, right? Not aliens, not one thing, but people invented stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
But I know I like reality, so I'm kind of partial towards archaeology and anthropology because I like to know like what actually happened.
Yep.
But anyways. I do appreciate, you too, Corey. I want to, call out. I appreciate, you doing the videos and talking to people about race and sex and about, anarchism and socialism. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoy talking to people, so that makes that part of my job easier. So, yeah, I've been doing more writing lately. I'm not sure how good I am at it yet, but I'm working on it.
Right on.
I'm trying to express my ideas in the written word, and I hope to be recording some video essays here before too long. So I guess if people want to see that, that's the Skeptical Leftist podcast or the Skeptical Leftist YouTube channel. And yeah, that's that.
Right on. Yeah, I think they should go and support you by joining your Patreon and be a subscriber. And get all the great extra stuff that you do.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and thank you, Damien, for becoming even a more higher level supporter of the podcast. Me and Justin, we usually talk for like 3 hours, but only like an hour to an hour and a half of it is live, and so the rest is all just stuff that bonus content for people who who support the show. It's patreon.com/skeptical-leftist. And and all my writing is available there, even if it's not available to the public. So,
right. Oh, and I wanted to make a note for people. If anyone that's credible wants to try to debate me, I will only do it live and basically on Corey's channel. So it has to be set up through Corey.
Yeah,
because it needs to. Well, because Corey needs to be available for his channel.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, we recently, me and Justin, we had the edited version of our discussion about Stephen Jay Gould's book, Rocks of Ages, came out 2 weeks ago, roughly. And we had quite a few religious people come on the comments to discuss how apparently science can't exist without God, but whatever. So,
Right, and that one guy tried to challenge me,
yeah,
and then he went and looked at my blog or video or something, and then said, "Oh wow, you really know a lot." And
yeah, and
what do you say something like that?
he hasn't really come back to me since. So, and he never did DM me or anything. He never looked up my email address and he
Oh.
messaged me or anything. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, and just so people know, I don't need, I don't try to set up debates. I'm not Matt Delahunty. I'm not saying anything wrong with doing debates. I'm just saying that's not my desire. My desire is to teach. That's why I don't really care for debating. But if someone has fucking horrible ideas that just won't go away and need to be killed like it's a dragon, then like Graham Hancock's stupid fucking idea of a ancient racist bullshit. So because shit like that, it makes me want to go in debate so I can kill that mythical snake.
Yep, for sure.
But so I'm just making a comment. But as you know, I don't care. Just debating, and even if I won every debate, I did that. It's not about ego. You know what I'm saying? For me, so it doesn't. Okay, I already thought I was going to win anyways. So I mean,
yeah, I always, whenever I feel like on my show or like if I'm invited on other people's shows, like I always try to emphasize, I'm not a debate guy. If you want to ask me questions, I will explain to the best of my ability what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. But I'm not coming on to debate whether or not anarchism is a valid worldview, because I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm just happy with that. And I'm not here to debate whether God exists, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't, and I'm just fine with that. So,
yeah, well, yeah. I could debate. I mean, I understand. Well, I do my way, and I would do better street debates, really, because I don't do good with the moderator and stuff, or people, with me being able to use my abilities without being hindered.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know how to talk to people. It's other people that messing with me and the person that messes it up. Because I get like a counseling relationship in a sense to how I talk and do with them and help them see stuff. And my goal is not to like manipulate them or force them to do something. What it is I know that if you can get someone to think and to reason, and you offer them a piece by piece, like I did in this video, right? Yeah. About with the Kurgans and everything. When you offer it piece by piece, then people start to grasp it. And you don't have to, it's like anarchism in general. You don't have to force people. You show in their best interest. Just like, well, how do you get people to want to be anarchists? Oh, we show them what the elite is doing and how capitalism is oppressing them. What do you mean? We start to realize solidarity. Well, how are you going to get people to be solidarity? You know what I do? What me personally, and Corey already knows this, I try to be a friend to the world, to everyone.
Yeah.
So that's why also I have people on my thing that are religious. Okay, I don't attack them like you said. Thought those people that want to call themselves new atheists seem to like to do. Even though I'm an anti-theist and anti-religious, I fucking hate that shit. But that doesn't mean I hate people.
Right.
Don't you get that? I hate the mythology, but even so you understand, mythology, if just by itself, is interesting. It's fun. Yep. If it's a fucking like Lord of the Rings, goblins or whatever story. But when you try to tell me that it hates me for being intersex, because of this goblin story, or that trans people don't exist because of the goblin story, or that women shouldn't have rights because of the goblin story, you know what I'm saying? Or you hate your child because they won't accept your goblin story, that becomes a fucking problem to me. And so that's what you know what I'm saying? It's not hating people.
Yeah, like I'm actually like generally a believe whatever the fuck you want, just keep it out of my business kind of guy. Like, but too often these religions, they refuse to keep it out of anybody else's business. So
and to me, I feel that everyone has a right to say what their stuff is. What you don't have a right to do is force people.
That's right.
Including your children. Like people ask me before, do I think that a parent has a right to tell the child what their religion is? Yes. What they don't have the right to do is use that religion and their power structure to manipulate the child to believe.
Yeah.
Right? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
exactly. Yeah.
Anyways, so
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and end it here, and next time we'll do pyramids. I appreciate it, Corey. I
For
know
sure.
all this stuff, is kind of new to you, but I think it's pretty awesome, and I love learning shit.
For sure.
All right.
Right on.
Take care.
You too.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudohistory, pseudomorality, things that are found in religion.